Welcome back, everybody. And we've had an upset in Series 1. Flash take down SBTC. Does that bring grim tidings for 𝘀𝗋𝗄? Will Team Secret complete the set of the upsets?
Well, it's 𝘀𝗀cie, so 𝘀𝗋𝗄's fine.
It is 𝘀𝗀cie, you're right. 𝘀𝗋𝗄's fine. Wow, good start. I was reading our tomorrow schedule and my brain just decided to int me. Well, regardless, it would still be an upset. Welcome to the VCS English analyst desk. I'm here with two people much smarter than me, evidently, 𝘀cie and 𝘀𝗋𝗄𝗀. And 𝘀𝗋𝗄𝗀, we'll start with you. What's your impression of these two teams we're about to watch?
Both are fairly inconsistent. One has a much higher high, and the other has a much lower low. So that speaks towards 𝘀𝗀cie being better. But there are opportunities for Secret to get there, to find their way in. That's the short version.
Yeah, 𝘀cie, what's your take on these two teams?
I mean, both really don't play for anything anymore. 𝘀𝗀cie, of course, I mean, as 𝘀𝗋𝗄 just said, pretty inconsistently. One week they look pretty great, the other they don't. And for Secret, they usually just look relatively bad. I mean, they are second to last for a reason, right? And they although sometimes like show some signs of brilliance. And I hope that is the case today, because I predicted them to beat 𝘀𝗀cie esports today.
Well, good timing, as I was about to go to our predictions. We can put those up on screen. I think me and 𝘀𝗋𝗄 remained faithful. 𝘀𝗀cie has actually been looking very good recently. I think 𝘀𝗀𝗋 actually made the statement of saying that they actually looked better than 𝘀𝗋𝗄 at the moment, despite obviously being one spot lower in the standings. A strong showing here against Secret. Yes, it's a 7th place team, but Secret often plays like a much better team. So if 𝘀𝗀cie can come in and really put them in the dirt, I do think it says a lot that they might have a chance in playoffs. Do you agree, guys?
Yeah, I think Secret tends to play for the around the level of their team, the enemy team, and then, you know, if they are actually better than a team, they will come out ahead. Hasn't really happened very often, it must be said, but only getting those 3 series wins. But I think 𝘀𝗀cie, I mean, they can, in theory, still technically maybe force a tiebreaker with 𝘀𝗋𝗄 for a 2nd spot, but that's not really going to actually mean much in the long run, because 𝘀𝗏 isn't going to be like, yes, I have decided I will play 𝘀𝗋𝗄 in the first round. That's not going to happen. Exactly. So, while it technically can mean something, I don't think it doesn't really mean much. But yeah, we do want to see them just try and shore up their weaknesses, try and get that consistency down before the playoffs, so they can actually make a decent showing against 𝘀𝗋𝗄.
What do you think, 𝘀cie? How much do you think this one matters for either of these teams, honestly?
I think it actually doesn't matter that much for either of them. I mean, 𝘀𝗀cie, as 𝘀𝗋𝗄 just now worked on, I mean, they could just technically take over 𝘀𝗋𝗄, but also 𝘀𝗋 plays another series, and they are likely winning that one as well, with 𝘁𝗏𝗏𝗀 not looking that hot recently. And either way, no matter, second team of VCS likely played the 3rd team anyway, because 𝘀𝗏 gets to pick at the 1st seed, and yeah, they don't want to pick 𝘀𝗋𝗄, I would assume, unless they are like maybe fancying the chances, being like, maybe just beat them early and get it out of the way. But regardless of that, this has nothing to do with the placement of this team. So either way, 𝘀𝗀cie doesn't really play for much, and for Team Secret, just have a good final showing, I would say. Maybe even try 𝘁𝗏 out again. They have run 𝘁𝗏 recently a lot, and 𝘁𝗏 has looked okay in some of those games, I dare say, and initially he looked horrible, and 𝘁𝗏 also not looking too hot. Maybe 𝘁𝗏 gets a second chance of some sorts here. Maybe Nagia gets to play a game. Maybe 𝘂1, who was benched for 𝘂𝗏, and 𝘂𝗏 deservedly showed up and earned his spot there. Maybe he gets to see another game. Maybe you just go a little bit off board and try some funny things here. But aside from that, I think the Secret, they could technically take over SBTC, and 6th would look a little bit better than 7th place, but I doubt that they care much about that.
Get them a few more dollars.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true. I think, yeah, as we said before, the prize money is pretty top heavy, so the seating near the bottom doesn't matter a huge amount. Anyway, when we look at these two teams, thinking about ahead to draft, I don't think we could have two more different but also very similar teams, because they both, and I know that sounds very strange, but they both play extremely aggressively, but they do it with completely different champions. How do you think draft actually plays out here, 𝘀cie?
I mean, what I expect from Team Secret is, I mean, they have like pretty clear strong shots in their team, which would be the bot lane and the jungle, and I think they will put their focus on that, maybe like get the Jinx Flash lane going on, maybe even still play the 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹, which has fallen out of favor a decent bit, I would say, and maybe get 𝘀𝗀𝗃 on a strong champion that can impact the game, get him on a carry jungler, and just maybe salvage the issue that bot lane and that the solo lanes are not as strong as the counterparts on the side of 𝘀𝑺ry, because, I mean, 𝘀𝑺ry, we know them as like the mid-jungle focused team, with Coated still being very decent, so I wouldn't expect them to be like in a position where they can. I've kind of lost track. I don't know.
Well, we are heading into draft. Don't worry, you don't need to do your predictions for any longer. As we pop on in, we see the Nocturne banned. It's just going to be perma-banned against Secret. People just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I think.
Jerry's back in.
I think the quick way to sum it up is they both play heavily through their jungle, but the jungler goes to different places. The 𝘀𝗃𝗃 is looking towards the bot side, 𝘁𝗃𝗰𝗀 heads towards Coated and Blazes. And yeah, so we're seeing lots of these targeted bans against Team Secret, hitting the Jinx, Thresh, and the Nocturne. Just basically the premier picks of those three big power points on the side of Team Secret. I like to see Jerry in. I think overall he's been better than 𝘁𝗃𝗃, but they keep playing 𝘁𝗃𝗃 for whatever reason, possibly performing better in scrims and such. But it's going to be a strong lock-in for 𝘀𝑚. I like it. I like them prioritizing Vit and H3 in the draft. Even though they're the weak point, if they get a winning lane, they don't become a problem. They don't become a liability. And they actually get to hold on and be pretty decent contributors to the game.
And with Caitlyn and Jinx being out of the picture, I wonder if they go for the 𝘀𝗀𝗯 now on the side of Team Secret. 𝘀𝗀𝗯 would maybe even not be a good idea because it has fallen out a little bit of favor, and you would likely play against something like Caitlyn and Lux then and would get heavily outranged, but they do prefer the Vex on the side of Team Secret, and we have mostly seen Parker Vex. It looked very horrible initially, then it got kind of a little bit better, I would say, and maybe that was the reason that Parker played, because his Vex, his Hydra was like at least something you could somewhat work with. But Team Secret prefers the Gragas, and I don't know why they pick it so early, but it is a champion, and you can flex in multiple positions, so not a bad pick either way, I would say.
Countered across by the Renekton Nidalee. It's a strong topside duo for the side of 𝘀𝑚, so again, that's where they're probably going to look to see their bread buttered, and I'm very interested to see where the Gragas is set to go. This is going to be a very different look from Team Secret if they lock it in, but they don't want to run into that rough range matchup. But I feel like, come on, there's got to be something in the ADC pool that you can go to before Jhin. Like, sure, you might not look to win the lane, but you can definitely lose the lane gracefully on a couple of other picks, like say I don't know, maybe 𝘁𝗃𝗃, maybe Vayne. Maybe not.
Oh, you can't.
Not
you can't play Vayne. You can't play Vayne into Caitlyn. That's.
Then I would actually prefer the Jhin.
Yeah, I mean,
well, it's not about winning the lane. The lane's lost. You've got no strong.
If you pick Vayne, you go down 50 CS.
I don't.
It's a horrible matchup.
I mean, I don't think I disagree. It's that bad because Vayne is quite strong right now, and also Vit.
That's the bet.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, moving on. We are getting supports banned out by Team Secret. Junglers by 𝘀𝑚. Of course, they've secured theirs. 𝘀𝗃𝗃, I actually think this is an interesting read because I think that Gragas is a jungle Gragas. That's the only person in the entire league that would make me think that is 𝘀𝗃𝗃. But I do think that's a jungle Gragas.
Could be. They could also put it for Nagia and maybe like play around the safe top lane there, but they can't just pick him Gragas and leave it at that because this is Renekton Nidalee coming up against him, and 𝘁𝗃𝗃 and Coated won't make it easy for him because this looks like a top side focus on the side of 𝘀𝑚, as we like it from them, because the Caitlyn will probably be self-sustainable on her own, and we actually get to see 𝘁𝗁. 𝘁𝗁 looks like a bot lane pick for me. I mean, Dex is already locked in for the mid lane, so the Gragas actually goes either jungle or top lane for them, and I think it could go to Nagia, but they need a plan around it because you can't just have a very big topside there and just wait for Renekton and Nidalee to feast onto your bones.
I mean, if he runs from a more tanky build, which is definitely not unusual for Nagia, that seems like a completely reasonable option to run that in the top side. But if they just swapped it into the mid lane for the old Renekton, then that makes it a little bit rougher. And now you do have all that counter pick potential, and it's going to be Yasuo top.
Right. It could also be Yasuo. I mean, it could also be the Yasuo jungle. They have played it before.
Yeah, I don't think they meant to.
We don't know. We'll have to see where the swaps actually go.
I refuse to believe they meant to play Yasuo jungle.
I mean, we tried to fix that draft kind of, and we're like so sure that the Gragas has to jungle out of those 5 picks yesterday, and it wasn't the case. So maybe we are just on the wrong read there. Either way, now ironically, the strong top side focus is on the side of Team Secret with this flexing coming out. I mean, they have the Gragas Yasuo top side combo now, and Code is on the J, so now Code needs to be vulnerable. It actually looks like Yasuo jungle again. How does
DNK, you are the worst person I have ever come across. I hate you. Uninstall your goddamn game. You are a blight on solo queue everywhere.
Look, he's got a good clear speed. He clears camps real quick.
That's how much it is the Yasuo jungle again. And I gotta say, in fairness to him, he played it okay to well yesterday, because he was a threat to 𝘀𝗀, and the rest of the map kind of wasn't.
Look, the game doesn't matter to them, so evidently they're having a little bit of fun as they do take Yasuo jungle once again. I mean, look, DNK, we do a little trolling. We do a little trolling.
Can't they do a little trolling with the troll?
Let's focus. Let's not get bogged down in this one. We have actually seen him play the Yasuo jungle before. It's not like it's the first time. Let's talk about 𝘀UE, because they're the team that is likely, not likely, they're guaranteed to be in playoffs. Team Secret, after this week, whatever, we forget about them until spring. 𝘀UE, we have to keep thinking about. What do you think of this draft? Do you think they've adapted to this meta well, 𝘀cie?
About 𝘀UE, I mean, kind of yes. I was kind of okay with it if they had the Renekton topside combo, but Renekton mid lane is not something that really convinces me, if I'm completely honest. I mean, into the Vex, maybe it is fine. I mean, you have like this one dash all-in mechanic with Renekton where you have like some outplay potential, but dashing into a Vex is generally not a good idea, so I'm doubtful of that. And I wonder if they can really abuse it digitally early enough to really get going there. But I gotta say, with 𝘁𝗀 being a very strong this split as a jungler, and him even winning games with losing lanes, now he likely just gets winning lanes, and just maybe this early game dominance snowball roll over compositions are something that 𝘀UE fits really well.
𝘁𝗶𝗶, what do you think about 𝘀UE?
I think 𝘀UE's composition is very old, like classic 𝘀UE from the start of the split, but I was fairly happy with the way they had been adapting to the meta with the focus on the mages for Blazers, and then still playing that aggressive style through the top side, but playing a bit more standard in terms of like compositional theory. But this is just thrown out the window to go back to the old style, and I don't think it works particularly well anymore, especially Renekton mid. I don't love it. I don't think it's been particularly answered in a fantastic way by Secret. So in a way, like, they 200 IQ'd themselves into a bad position, but then 300 IQ Secret outdid them even better. Because the Yasuo jungle looked well, but they funneled everything into him and wound up with a level 13 mid laner at 30 minutes. It was, or something, not quite as bad as that, but 𝘁𝗀 got nothing because they put it all into the Yasuo, and the Yasuo didn't actually do anything in the end.
Look, the Yasuo jungle, I mean, it's a strange decision. We'll have to see if it works out. It still does have the Gragas Yasuo. It's just not where we normally see them. Do you guys actually think they can pull the upset? I sort of lean towards a no, but if Flash can do it, why not Secret?
I think yes, because of what they are up against. I think the Renekton Italy can absolutely become useless if they don't play the early game right. And I mean, we're more like, it's sort of a lot of the Yasuo and Nidalee as your jungle matchup, one of them is gonna sort of be the classic do nothing but look good while doing it. I think that's how we're gonna see this, and I think Yasuo is more likely to be that option.
What is going on?
Getting bullied in these bans today.
𝘀𝑠hi𝗰 has learned though. You ban Elise, you win. Team Flash proved it.
Yeah.
If you make Spoods mad, you win.
I want to go to your earlier question, Calyx.
Go ahead.
Whether the patch read of 𝘀𝑠hi𝗰 is pretty spot on or not, I think it actually is. I mean, we saw it in the 1 week where they had like the 1 game win against Cerberus and also the 2-0 against 𝘀𝗶𝗏𝗀. But I think while their patch read is good, they don't show it here, and they didn't show it last few series either, because once they really locked in players, they didn't really care that much. Like, I cannot generally believe them that they think that this is the right thing to do, but yeah, they go with it, and I think they really just try to hide picks and not show anything they do not need to show. And 𝘀𝑠hi𝗰 is, to me, they look like they're just coasting once players were locked, and this is why I actually still think with the Yasuo juggle that Secret has a chance here.
I mean, it truly is a secret draft. Apparently, you take Nocturne away from D&K, and he's just, I don't want to play anymore. I'm just going to do a bit of solo queuing. Where do you want them to play around, though? This Yasuo obviously means that he can't really snowball his lanes early. He has to get to 6 before he does anything in ganks, really. So what does he do? Does he just power farm? Does he have to try and answer Renekton Nidalee? 𝘁𝗶𝗶, what do you think?
I mean, he can just sort of power farm into tracking, because if the minion waves are all right and in position, you can get your Renekton and throw a spear into 𝘀𝑠y Yasuo can dash in, drop a W, and your spear doesn't actually land, and Nidalee is feeling a little left out because she has so much distance to clear, and without her empowered jump, can't quite do it. So yeah, I think you can look to sort of affect lanes early as a sort of defensive reactive measure. Plus, I mean, if you have proper setup, like, say, in the bot lane, you just need to swing by, pick up throw in a single Q or something, and get the assistant that just should help accelerate you towards that level 6 mark. And then from there, just bully Jace. Just keep repeatedly throwing your fat man at him and landing the ultimate.
Yeah, bringing in his friend. Over on the side of 𝘀𝑠hi𝗰, how do you play this one? Do you play around the mid lane just to link up the Renekton Nidalee, or do you try and roam Renekton down and 4-man party in the bot lane so that Caitlyn can get far ahead? What do you think, 𝘀𝗀cy?
I think you don't pick Renekton Nidalee not play around it, so I think there will be some mid lane focus, at least for the side of Killer Queen towards Blazes. But I think depending on how the lanes work, you can just do it in any lane, basically, because you have potentially 3 winning lanes here. I mean, maybe even Blazes the least out of those, and maybe this is why you should gank for Blazes here, because the Caitlyn Lux lane will likely win on its own. Jhin Karma can somewhat match them in range, but not quite as much, because Caitlyn isn't really matched there, aside from like Jinx focus, but Jinx is banned this time. And Coated will have priority the top lane against the Gragas, I would assume. So it will very likely be a mid lane focus, maybe with some top lane focus, because the Gragas actually, for a tank pick, has surprisingly much priority, because his barrel can just do so much in the early game. And I don't think the bot lane this time, ironically, for 𝘀𝑠hi𝗰 doesn't need much help.
What do you think, 𝘁𝗶𝗶?
Yeah, I want to see Killer Queen sort of give a little bit of extra attention to Blazes, just so he can actually maintain a bit of pressure, because as it is, he's the one that's getting pushed in a little bit, just by the nature of the champs, and you would really want that mid lane priority to maximize the Nidalee's ability to push in and steal those jungle invades, and yeah, just go for something like that, because the side lanes will win naturally on their own. I think player skill will bring 𝘀𝑠hi𝗰 through this, but it's not doom and gloom for Secret.
Fair enough, but we head on to the Rift. 𝘁𝗶𝗶, we'll see you again after this game. Let's go, 𝘀𝑚𝐶𝑦. It's you and me once again as we zoom in to Summoner's Rift to see if Team Secret can follow 𝘀𝑠hi𝗰's lead and pick up a big upset.
Let's see if they can. Now we see, usually level 1 starts are not that interesting in the VCS. I mean, there's not really anything going on at this stage of the game. I mean, nobody is going for these flippy plays here, which is kind of expected by now. Maybe some spears landing, and Nagia gets chunked. He can just go through base right now, though. I mean, it's not like something that really impacts the game in a great way. And other than that, let's wait and see how the focus goes out on the side of 𝘁𝗁. I mean, we just talked about it. He would likely play a little bit on the Renekton here, maybe even some bit about 𝘁𝗁. There is like some decent CC setup in the bot lane as well, with Lux hitting light binding on her side, but let's wait and see how it works out. Blazes not just now is spot on the ward though.
Yeah, I mean, he hatched that ward for a while. There just was no real level 1 CC. The Gragas, of course, doesn't want to take his E. H3 in a lot of trouble early. Eddie going low as well. Oh, no! Karma's going to come back to help him out, though, as he does pick up the counter kill, but Caitlyn is here, and the cops are here in force.
And maybe we just trashed out Bit once too much because he just gets a double kill there. And gotta say though, it's all 𝘁𝗁's fault. And maybe we see here why he usually is a jungler, because he definitely couldn't lane there for sure. Just misses the flash mantra Q there. Very unfortunate for him, but like this, it is a 2-for-1 trade immediately for the Caitlyn Lux lane. I said initially they don't need much help, and apparently they indeed do not need it. All the help they needed was 𝘁𝗁 missing a good skill shot. And here we see the 2v2 again. It starts off quite well for the Jhin Karma lane here, but H3 of course survives this one initially, and H3 didn't even do anything special.
Don't do him like that.
Like I was wondering if H3 did some 200 IQ sidestep there, but he just didn't. He was just lucky that it didn't hit.
He just missed.
𝘁𝗁 just screwed up. Yeah.
I mean, you just can't fight Caitlyn like that. She just gets too many headshots when she's standing in the bush the whole time. So that is a ridiculous start for the Caitlyn. One thing to keep in mind is it doesn't matter yet. She didn't base, so right now she hasn't really cashed in that 2 kills.
That is true, but there is like no early game jungler that can really punish it right now. I mean, this DNK is on a Yasuo. He's level 3 right now, he's just farming, and he should be farming right now. It's just power farming his jungle. Was starting on the top side of the map, I think, and just now is finishing the blue buff and will likely take a base before he can even gank someone realistically. Blazes, however, yeah. Renekton mid lane, I'm also not convinced. I mean, Vex is so good against these dash champions, and Renekton has to dash in to even get an all-in going on, which would be like his win con in the lane, and yeah, Vex just laughs at you and makes you very, very terrified.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bad start. He does have TP, so he doesn't lose much of anything. As, I mean, this bot lane's already kind of doomed. Look how they're having to path. They're level 2.
This is so unfortunate. Yeah, they just got the 𝘁𝗁 going for them, which is nice, but other than that, they just have to pick up the wave here. They also down CS. Aside from the loss to V2 that they just now had, they will be down so much in gold. When the Caitlyn cashes in and she's just now going for a shopping trip, will likely have the Noon Quiver going on for her.
4-minute
Noon Quiver instantly. Good start. Decent at 80, decent attack speed. Yeah. Looks pretty doomed, and the lane was already strong to begin with, and it will just now be even worse for them. Also, like, I had like some hope that maybe the Gragas against the Jace is somewhat a decent matchup, because the Gragas has so much early priority for a tank, but he kind of gets bullied by 𝘁𝗁 here, and Nagia not really showing his strongest signs. Also, Jace is very much chilling because he started a call and will cash in later on as well.
Yeah, as they move into the mid lane, Jerry has to flash away, but there's the move in by 𝘁𝗁. He wants this, but the Mistral Bolt under the tower means that it's a 1-for-1. We go up directly to the top side as 𝘁𝗁 bonks DNK away, trying to get out of this one, but it's only a matter of time before the Fat Man will get his revenge. 𝘁𝗁 going low, 𝘁𝗁 going down. Yasuo has a kill.
And this is a level 4 Yasuo gang coming out. You don't really need to see when the Jace doesn't have mana anyway. Can just get run down there by the minion wave of his own team. Because DNK can just chase along of that and 𝘁𝗁. Yeah, not really in a deal position. He is still on his farming items, of course, but that is a very deep TP, my friend.
It is. He is okay, though. He actually wants to try and turn something around, maybe recognizing that Yasuo doesn't do a huge amount, but he just gets chunked out by the minion. He's dead.
He just dies! And even if he wouldn't die,
that's just a dieback.
He gets chunked for free there and just gives another level up to DNK. He loses a very big minion wave there. His TP is now also down. He could just TP to the turret, by the way, and just not get chunked even here. Here we see Jerry, by the way, nice clip better Jerry. Jerry almost survived that, and if he does, then 𝘁𝗁 still dies. It would be very huge
𝘀𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗀
𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗀
lives up to its name as a villain has been cleansed. 1-for-1 at the moment. Vit wants to keep the fight going, but with Jerry coming in, the Caitlyn could be in trouble. There's the shadow. Good flash.
Good flash and also good shadow search. I mean, it was just very well placed by Jerry there. There was no really good way to escape there on the north side, because then he would just walk towards the Vex, which is also not something I would recommend him. And it was a good TP play overall. We didn't see it as it was off screen as the replay happened, or the topside play earlier happened. Nagia TP'd for this and got the kill for their side, but also Vit, I mean, he's such a strong Caitlyn. He also got a return kill in this exchange, 2v3, and with that, it is still fine for 𝘀𝗀xe more than not, because just now, both top laners are kind of gifting leads away to the enemy team, and Vit is just taking profit on both ends.
H3 going low. Vit's actually pretty chunked, so they do need to be careful around the fourth shot from Jhin as a W comes out, tagging them up. Vit needs to be a little bit respectful here. If 𝘀𝗀 lands any poke, he could die.
Yeah, could die very quickly there with the trap CC coming out and it being changed with the karma. And I wonder if 𝘀𝗀 recovers from the play he did earlier, because that was just straight up bad from him. I mean, he just TPs to the mini wave when he could just TP to the turret. DNK, however, is level 6. He could just maybe make a play on the bot lane, or at least zone them away. Vit, no flash, no Caliber anymore.
Vit is completely dead. He's going to try and run over a trap. DNK respects it though, walks in, 600 gold shutdown. That's a 3-0 Yasuo, 𝘀𝗀xe.
Yeah, a 3-0 Yasuo at 7 minutes, and it's very scary. He could
knock up hits, but he can't follow up. Now it's on the H3 to have the dancing shoes. She's wearing the space groove, and she disco dances her way through the bullets.
Well played by H3. He also hit the light binding, as Yasuo would have otherwise could have casted the last breath there to just finish him off, and this is why DNK wasn't able to get any kill there. Also, Eddie, I mean, you gotta hit one of those shots. Sorry, but H3 just outplayed you there.
Well, Nagia, you better find yourself a happy hour. Gets chunked out. They're just going to let Blazers walk in and absolutely guarantee it. He even gets the kill as Nagia will fall.
I think it's also smart to give him the kill, because otherwise the Renekton will not really get propelled in the game, and him being ahead in CS, just now getting this kill, despite having not the easiest of lanes against the Vex, is now also propelled a little bit ahead. And I just wonder whose strong side is really popping off here, because there is DNK 3-0 on the Yasuo, but on the other hand, bot lane going well for 𝘀𝗀xe, mid lane going well for them, and 𝘀𝗀, aside from that one botch TP play there, he actually plays fine. I mean, he's almost 30 CS ahead. He will cash in with the Cull later on, and with Eclipse and 𝘀𝗀 and the more mana later on, he will be a very strong Jace in the mid game.
Certainly should be, as bot lane is actually recovered to a point that I'm honestly shocked that it was able to. Eddie only a little bit behind as 𝘀𝗀 rejoins him in the lane. The Caitlyn somewhat shut down with the rest of the pressure that was thrown down there by DNK, but he is definitely the man to watch, as this Yasuo has potential to take over the game. He has to be pretty self-reliant though. I think Nagia, the one problem with this Gragas Yasuo, the way they have it set up, is that there's a good chance that Nagia has to be in the side lane matching Jace a lot and isn't there to throw the barrel to get the Yasuo going.
Yeah, definitely a good point to bring up. Vex cannot be the side lane, neither can the bot lane really take much care of it, because they will likely be requested to be in the mid lane, be around Drake, be around Herald, to have like some pressure on those accounts. And with DNK, the scary thing is he's 3-0 on the Yasuo, and he hasn't really started playing the game yet. He's not really on his items. Earlier he just had Zergers and the Noon Quiver, and Yasuo is usually strong because of this insane crit scaling he has, and he just now starts slowly rack up those items. Will likely base now for maybe his first item, but no, he hasn't quite finished the shield bow yet. He's still sitting on components, and this Yasuo will get even scarier. Currently sitting on 38% crit chance, and this will just get extended much further once he completes his item, and then he will be a real teamfight menace, because he is surprisingly tanky with the shield bow, and you just need to one-shot him, get some CC onto him, otherwise he will just heal back up again, and he can duel pretty much anyone on the enemy team. And with this wind wall, he can also just deny the bot lane and Jace and Nidalee all at once. I mean, only like really Blazes can just teamfight reliably into him.
Oh, Killer Queen. No, it doesn't slip through the net. They sniffed it out as DNK wants him. The flash over the wall will be... What is this teleport? That's terrible.
Yeah, what is this teleport? That's also what Killer Queen is asking. That's why he's giving it a thumbs up, because there's just really not needed this teleport, and
that's
this is just a free
TP
advantage given.
And look where the wave is as well. This is a shocker from Jerry.
He just TP to lose a wave in the mid lane. Yeah, it's just a loss on both accounts. TP is gone, and also wave is gone.
He's trying to get something out of it, and he will as he picks up that first one. The next target's going to be 𝘁𝗃. Where's the Vex? 𝘂𝗎𝗄 just dies to the tower. Disaster using the Shadow Surge to try and get out, but Blazers is just like, yes, give me my dinner. As they take the kills, 𝘁𝗃 throws a Q to try and slow them down, but the light will bind as 𝘁𝗃 is being hunted. The Dark Star cannot stand before the might of Killer Queen, the dragon as well, and it started well for Team Secret, but that play was just awful.
And I'm so disappointed with 𝘁𝗀 there, because he is a 3-0 Yasuo, and what is your purpose, 3-0 Yasuo? My purpose is to die to the turret. He didn't even use flash, he didn't pressure anything there, he just dies. Luckily for him, he gave the shutdown away to the Lux, so it's not the end of the world, I guess, in that scenario. But also the Lux would likely make some good use of this money she gets here. And here we see the play again, Riftel coming out. Good actually from Jerry, who wasted this TP kind of an awkward situation there. Now, curtain call comes out to like a there.
I have to shout out, 𝘁𝗃 was really smart there. Hit a light binding and then ulted across it, but angled it so he also hit the only minion left. So 𝘁𝗀 just died to tower. There's nothing he could. It wasn't actually 𝘁𝗀's fault. It was just 𝘁𝗃 being good.
It was him being good, and also like the setup from Team Secret being kind of forced. I mean, maybe it's just the repercussions of the awkward teleport from Jerry there. I mean, Jerry's dive was fine, I would say. Just the follow-up was a little bit awkward. You can get someone else to tank the turret there, and you don't need 𝘁𝗀 for this purpose. But gotta say, credit is due to 𝘁𝗃, who did the smart wave trick there to make 𝘁𝗀 fall to the turret. And I really like Jerry getting the pick up there with the Shadow Surge, but other than that, 𝘁𝗃 actually, I think, survived this whole ordeal, and I wonder how strong he gets as a Lux support there, because Lux as a support isn't really that effective, but
So what
with some
here?
gold in our pockets, we can do something. Gragas Yasuo, I think this is pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have ult to set up 𝘁𝗀, but 𝘁𝗀 can still just flash forward, auto him down. Well played there. We also missed a play in the mid lane. It was just 𝘁𝗃 hitting a binding into the laser, into the damage. This bot lane has been fearsome for 𝘀𝗀𝗋.
Definitely has, and I wonder if they even had like anything where they did like a bad play overall. I mean,
I'm sorry, I have to cut you off again. I have to cut you off again as Blazers is getting dove down on. 𝘁𝗀 does not predict the flash correctly. Blazers trying to get one kill back, but no, another one for 𝘁𝗀.
This must be like his 5th kill or something, so he will definitely have some gold in his pockets now to at least finish the shield buff for the next skirmish. And I wonder if there are like any Drake takings on the side of 𝘀𝗀𝗋 later on, because they just now got the mountain Drake. This Yasuo is definitely set up to success still, despite having this awkward death earlier under the turret where 𝘁𝗃 outplayed him. But I wonder how Team Secret tries to play the rest of the map, because both solo lanes are falling apart in CS. Only the bot lane is somewhat savage, but they also play around the bot lane a fair bit. So this is also due to that mostly, and not the other things. And 𝘀𝗀𝗋 is slowly crippling away on the lead, and it will likely just be later on.
Oh no
𝘁𝗀𝗋 against him. Oh, Coated, he gets to kill him.
𝘁𝗀𝗋, just run. Don't be greedy. Leave the play, 𝘁𝗀𝗋. Well done. Doesn't. Ooh, okay, laser. Good dodge. Good attempt there by 𝘁𝗃, but it is 𝘁𝗀𝗋 picking up his 6th kill. This is an enemy team Yasuo right there.
This is an enemy team Yasuo, but it can also turn into other team Yasuo once he just gets blown out in one team fight, because all the I couldn't say lead for Team Secret is on him, because they don't really have a lead, but all the gold is on him. The rest of the map is falling completely apart, and it's just basically all 𝘁𝗀𝗋 in the team that's who has to like manage to make the play. And this setup, weirdly enough, also is only the Gragas, which is of course decent setup, but as you said earlier, the Gragas will likely side lane a lot, and the cast needs to land very, very well, or the buddy lane needs to land very, very well. Otherwise, 𝘁𝗀𝗋 just has its own tornado as a setup, and the rest of the map isn't really there for him. And with losing side lanes and losing mid lane, 𝘁𝗀𝗋 is still in a rough position.
Absolutely is. Let's see what he can actually do in this one, as 𝘀𝗀𝗋's early flying ahead has been arrested. Team Secret have been pulling the gold lead back in their favor. The question is, how do they keep doing it, and how does 𝘁𝗀𝗋 find his way out of this one? Oh man, 𝘁𝗃, those findings are just point and click this game.
You just asked how they keep doing it. The answer is they just keep hitting light binding. That makes it a little bit easier. And I mean, the kill score is missing. It's looking at 10 to 10, but Coated is 0-4 and still ahead of Nagia, I would say. And bit okay.
The ace in the hole just goes off, so it is a 1-for-1, but it's another kill for Vex.
It is, but it's not a shutdown, so I think it's fine for Bit overall. But she just gets more shadow searches.
There's the reset. It's another one, but it misses. Does not land onto 𝘁𝗃. 𝘁𝗃 does sidestep the tornado. 𝘁𝗃 goes low, but 𝘁𝗃 does not die. And it's a shutdown onto 𝘁𝗃.
And 𝘁𝗃 was really greedy and trying to kill DNK there to get his shutdown, but he just manages to give away his own there. It was a little bit too riskily played for them. And maybe he was coordinating or trying to coordinate with 𝘁𝗃 to like get the finishing blow with maybe the loosened singularity there for 𝘁𝗃 at least, so they have enough damage going on there. And 𝘁𝗃 likely gets shut on like this and could maybe flash out, but they kind of get caught in the CC chain there, and 𝘁𝗃 just dies. So 𝘀𝗀cie is still crippling ahead in most positions here, but they are far from clean, and they keep feeding DNK, and this is just a recipe for disaster to some extent, because I mean, one good ultimate Yasuo just wins the team fight, and and if he doesn't manage to do so, he just dies. You did see the replay again. Bit plays it very well, and I think it's fine to play this as a singular thing, because you don't give a shutdown over. Vex would have the shadow search either way for this play, I think, because otherwise she just wouldn't use it mid lane, and here DNK gets one kill, and I think he also gets the one onto 𝘁𝗃. Let's wait and see.
Jerry picks up.
𝘁𝗃 was out! Jerry gets... I think this is actually worse, because then, you know, if potentially Vex could get resets onto you, and also the Yasuo. I mean, you were fine with maybe DNK being the one threat of the team, but now you're potentially making it easier for Jerry now as well, and 𝘀𝗀cie still is like maybe a bit playing with their foot here, but they're still giving too many chances to Team Secret, and I do not like to see it.
For sure, and I mean, look, the thing about 𝘀𝗀cie is that, yes, this match itself doesn't matter as the cask is thrown out, but 𝘁𝗃 doesn't care. He's just firing out the laser. All right, you take that every day of the week. You just got a shutdown. You killed the enemy AD carry. DNK throws out the tornado. Coded flashes away from it, but he is a very quick Yasuo. Moving on forward, they want him. It's a shadow surge. It's a reset. The fishing hit doesn't land, and that'll be Team Secret picking up kills, picking up a Herald.
And 𝘁𝗃 just solo killed Eddie, by the way. I just want to highlight that, because Nagia was kind of trolling his own AD carry, and Eddie there was a little bit unfortunate. 𝘀𝗀cie can just one combo the Jhin, which is nice to know, because it might be relevant later on. If there's another good binding by 𝘁𝗃, you can just kill him. And as we now see Yasuo getting the Hextech break in the replay, and nice running down. We're not strong in the mid game, we know that. And Vex is not in a little situation to do anything there. I mean, she is a strong champion, but not in the
she's got short little legs. Had to run away from a big crocodile. That's pretty hard.
She should have less base movement speed, of course. But either than that, I wonder if the game ends. It's a win for 𝘀𝗀cie before Coated gets the kill, because he's 0-6 on the Jace now, but it's still a scary Jace. This is kind of funny to see. He's very soon to complete this more mana even.
Oh, Jerry getting bullied again. This could be Coded picking up that kill. Oh, no, goes well. Does 𝘁𝗃 steal it?
Yes.
No! Coded gets the kill. You've cursed them, 𝘁𝗃. And now the Yasuo moving in onto Blaze. It's a good flash to try and get away. Oh, Nagia surfing over the wall. I'm surprised he had to range that. But now there's a Dominus as Blaze is trying to turn it around. Can he pick up the one kill? It'd be huge if he could. But no, DNK cuts him down.
I wonder if a minion kills him. Nagia silences with the happy hour passive there, and Blazes almost took this around onto Nagia actually there, because the Relaxing can just do so much more in these extended trades, because he just has the more sustained damage there, and DNK another kill for him. I mean, just keeps getting those, and I wonder if Bit can survive that. He actually can't, and DNK with another kill. I'm scared of this Yasuo by now, gotta be honest. I mean, it should still be 𝘀𝗀cie's game, but they are far from clean. It's also just the 2K goal to 20 minutes is not that impressive anymore. It used to be like 4K at like the 40-minute mark, which is like 3 times as impressive. And with this, just one good catch, one good tornado, and it's all over for you.
It certainly is, as this was just 𝘁𝗃 getting caught out, getting a little bit too big for his britches on the Lux as they just came forward, and an easy kill there.
And late flash from him. I think he should know better. He also forces Eddie's flash, but I think just flash earlier or don't flash at all. I don't like this half measure thing where you burn the flash and still die to it. This is not something I want to see of him.
It's bad. Coded farming up in this mid lane, as you said, despite the scoreline, they do really still need to respect the Jace. He still puts out a huge amount of damage despite being 1-6. 𝘀𝗀𝘀 moving forward doesn't show any respect as he just immediately gets on top of Coded. That's going to be an easy peasy kill. It's answered back onto Jhin though as 𝘀𝗀𝗰𝗄 wants to make something of this. The ultimate can't go off, and that's an 800 gold shutdown for Vit.
And if 𝘀𝗀𝗀 down, I don't think Team Secret can do much because this is where the problem really lies. 𝘀𝗀𝗀 has 10 kills of the 19 kills that Team Secret has in total. Nagia having some kills won't really scare them that much, and Jerry maybe does to a little extent, but Vit also very strong, very controlling on this Caitlyn pick so far, and this should just be as soon as Yasuo's down, there's like also like no chaos that can really be put onto 𝘀𝗀𝗋 there to really like shake their composure to some extent, and I think they should be very fine as long as 𝘀𝗀𝗀 is down to play the siege out with the Caitlyn traps and the Lux siege with HP hitting some binding there. And if they get this next wave, it will be a good sign of life for side of 𝘀𝗀𝗋 to like get some control back into this game. But 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 will also respawn for this, so maybe it's not even that worrisome for them. He goes Death Stand, third item, by the way, which is very interesting. Also, I want to speak about another item point, which is coached on the Jace. He doesn't go 𝘀𝗀𝗪 Squatch, third item. He goes for more lethality, just to make sure that he actually hits all those critical targets on the side of Team Secret. I mean, they have no tank. Even the Gragas is going Everfrost, so maybe even a smart choice here for him.
For sure, and in this fight, we just see that it's 𝘀𝗀𝗋 entering stage right and not being denied. They get up those easy kills. 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 doing a huge amount of burst damage. We come back to live, and it's a scrap around this dragon. 𝘁𝗀 chunked out to half. Jace able to whip in some big shock blasts yet. 𝘀𝗀𝗋 full control of the river. They're gonna get the Drake for free. They're going to trade Team Secret with some map pressure, but 𝘁3 on the Lux, truly bringing some light to the team as he basically gets a solo kill.
Yeah, he just basically got one there, and I think it was just 𝘀𝗀𝗋 maybe healing him to even get an assist in there, and yeah, one free kill. Lux is really, really fat, and this might just be also a really good problem for Team Secret, because, I mean, imagine if 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 just runs into a light binding and just gets blown up before the fight starts. That just basically could solo lose Team Secret the game here, and this Lux unironically pretty scary right now. We also see the gold just now pointed at us, and we see only 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 really has a lead on the enemy team, and this is not spelling good things for Team Secret. Even Coated, I mean, he has 7 deaths. He's 1-7 like Brazil against Germany 7 years ago, but he's still very, very strong in this game.
Completely misses. Vit, Gale forcing away. 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is going to come in from the side, but he steps out past the wind wall, immediately bound up. Oh, huge play there, weaving the bullet through the team. The magic bullet for sure. Nagia wants to try and find a knock-up. 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 chunked out, jumping away. This is going to be a Baron started by Team Secret. This is so bold. This is a last-ditch effort here.
I mean, they might feel like they have to try here. 𝘁𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀!
Oh, but he can't follow up. 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 can't use the ultimate off it. They need to run away. The poke is so big.
The poke is too big. And speaking of poke, there was no body blocking on the curtain call there, so Vit could actually die. And I think Team Secret felt pressure to take the Baron because they are realizing that only really 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is in the game for them. And I also don't think 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 wants to have a 1 or 2 man last breath there, because that alone won't be enough to clean up 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 there and have a good team fight on their own. And you cannot really withstand the poke on the side of Team Secret there. Your resistances get shredded by the Baron. Also 𝘁3 landing binding after binding, having a good final spark hitting onto 4 members, and you aren't making it easy for them. If you just keep funneling into the Baron pit, you just give so much access to Coated, to 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 as well, landing their poke, and you might just be able to finish the Baron, but then you likely just get aced, so not really a worthy Baron to take. And Team Secret wisely so pull off the Baron, and 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 gets another few minutes to breathe here and get to another item power spikes. Caitlyn now on 3 items, and I see Shadow Flame coming out second for 𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 with some lingerings of the Void stuff later on. Maybe we'll see the Shadow Surge
landing in, but look at all of the shielding onto 𝘁3. They need to kill him to get the reset. There it is. Jerry could choose to jump again, but I don't think there's a good target. Throws out the Shadow Surge. He's going to miss. So it's just the one pick there for Team Secret.
I wonder if that's enough, because while it's just 𝘁𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is very relevant to the composition. And here's the last breath coming in.
Yeah, they are going to dive on forward, going gold in the backside, but it doesn't matter because there's a big old crocodile bearing on down. Already picked up the kill onto the Karma. That's a lot of damage out of the Vex. Another tornado lands as Jin opens up the gate, picks up the first. Coded going low. Blazers and Vit still absolutely terrifying, though. Nets his way forward. 𝗀𝗶𝗹𝗀𝗀 does not quite land, and Jin can skulk back into the shadows.
And this fight has been worried for Team Secret because this was a very decent last breath engage coming out from 𝘀𝗀𝗃, and it was still not enough to really do anything there. Only H3 and 𝘁𝗀𝗃 died, and they also managed to lose 2 people in the process. And as long as any form of CC is available on the side of 𝘀𝗀𝗃, 𝘀𝗀𝗃 cannot really go in because he is a melee fighter. He has a shield bar, but he would still die if there's some CC onto him and some damage follow up on the side of 𝘀𝗀𝗃. So 𝘀𝗀𝗃 cannot really play these fights easily, and this will be a problem within the game, or already is a huge problem, I would say, because we are now 26 minutes into the game. 𝘀𝗀𝗃 is super fed on this pick and cannot really play the team fights right and carry his team.
Certainly can't, as I think this is beginning to get more and more dire in this game. It just seems like Team Secret don't know what to do. They're running around the map like headless chickens, while 𝘀𝗀𝗃 is able to just dissect them at every turn. 𝘀𝗀𝗃, what do they do in this one? We'll talk about it after the replay, though, as that was that last breath. But it just doesn't go
last
anywhere.
breath to 𝘁𝗀𝗃. Yeah, he just has a sword punch, it just buys time, and then last breath is out, and time is out.
As a double binding comes in, that's absolutely massive. H3 on this Lux has been insane. It is just chunking in the end. They can't follow up. They can't actually pick up a kill. But Team Secret are forced to retreat, find health where they can.
They are kind of on even ground now, I would almost say, because Cole is down, but you chunk 2 members, more than half HP, so it's actually fine for the side of H3 there to have like this huge light binding there. He does so much on this Lux. I think without his picks, it would be a very hard game to play for 𝘀𝗀𝗃 here, but like this is very fine for them. Also, next Ocean Vic coming up, and I would still favor 𝘀𝗀𝗃 there because of their positioning here, because of the vision control they have. I mean, the vision control is not as clean as maybe here.
Oh my word, he's just gone! H3 is going to get followed up on as a double kill. Jerry moves forward. It's going to be a triple as soon as he moves forward onto Vit. He wants to play it safe, I'm sure, but in goes the Vex. The Mistral Bolt misses, so Vit survives, but he's chunked so low that this is going to be a Drake for Team Secret.
Definitely, but 𝘁𝗀𝗃 cannot get called out like this. He also just eats the Shadow Surge, and they got to Baron instead. I mean, why not? I mean, you just now have the timing where 𝘁𝗃𝗃 is down, there's no smite on the enemy team, and you maybe feel forced to take it. On the other hand, 𝘀𝗀𝗃, I think they just give up the Baron and accept that it's gone, which might be a wise choice, because you cannot really fight that either with 3 people, and it's just poke and no really front line, aside from maybe Blazes, and Blazes just takes the Drake on their own, which would mean soul point for 𝘀𝗀𝗃, but at least Team Secret has like some few minutes where they can work around with the Baron buff, and maybe see some turrets down, equalize a goal score maybe. But I don't think this one Baron is enough. They just need to keep finding picks with the Vex, and maybe then there's a chance to win the game. Other than that, they just need to rely on 𝘀𝗀𝗃 having great usage of the Yasuo ultimate to really carry these team fights.
Yeah, and I really like the decision to go for the Baron there. If they can't fight at the next Drake, they lose anyway. Like, okay, cool, 𝘀𝗀𝗃 on soul point. If Team Secret doesn't win the next fight, you lose anyway. The soul itself doesn't matter. Nagia getting caught out does. As he tries to surf away, ooh, just about does it. Kind of looked like he had 2 dashes there, a bit weird. Throws the party barrel out, just as a little bit of a token of respect. Finally, does manage to get away.
Finally, some respect shown. Shadow Surge hits, so Coded just dies for the 9th time.
Just goes in, absolutely destroys Coded. This is possibly the worst game we've ever seen out of Coded. 1-9. Disaster. For sure, as now they have the push on the mid lane. This should be an inner tower, pretty easy to secure, as 𝘀𝗀𝗃 have been caught on the reset.
Coded is also a great, like the lion's share of their wave clear, so him dying actually means a lot now, because the Baron push is coming out on the side of Team Secret. They can use the Windfall even to block off initial wave clear, and you just keep getting picked off here. And Coded, yeah, you just said it, maybe his worst game of the split so far. He's 1-9. I mean, the first deaths I can somewhat excuse because he was at least getting huge farm leads against Nagia, but this is not something that's relevant in the mid game anymore. He cannot just keep dying like this, and he just coasts them objective after objective, and this is something that definitely needs some fixing. There's still a little bit more than 1 minute left on the Baron. I think at least a few tier 2 turrets will fall on the side of 𝘀𝗀𝗃, but maybe we see another skirmish, because I don't think 𝘀𝗀𝗃 likes to give them up for free.
Oh, but 𝘀cie_𝗰𝗴𝗀, he's going to get taken down. The Gale Force does find him. 𝘁𝗔 is a moment away from the Shadow Surge. It's up now. The Jhin ult thunking in damage. There's the tag. Does he actually want to go under the tower? I think it's risky.
Yes.
He just jumps in, goes gold immediately. I don't think this was a good decision by 𝘁𝗔. Yeah, just has to give up the flash. Doesn't really get anything for it.
Doesn't really get anything for it, and yeah, that was a really questionable Shadow Surge going in for him. Getting attack is of course fine, but it is like a 𝘀𝗀𝗃 in this moment. I mean, you can just fish with it, and you don't have to go in. It is optional.
Not on Renekton. You did not need to do that on Renekton.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, he doesn't die, at least. 𝘀𝗀𝗃.
With this, Baron is fading
game.
away.
This is a hard game to dissect. Because
it really is. I mean, 𝘀𝗀𝗃 is winning on most positions, and I think
scale well, but they're playing very badly.
But so is 𝘀𝗀𝗃, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's just
true.
like 𝘀𝗀𝗃 is just winning lanes and then throwing the leads away. We've seen this one TP from 𝘀𝗀𝗃 that was like his second death where he just gives away a whole wave, his TP and his life, and DK gets the second kill and a free level 5. And Yasuo could have been so far down. Well, it was 2 deaths from 𝘀𝗀𝗃 that snowballed him away from level 3 to level 5. It just kind of bridged the super early game for him. Meanwhile, off screen.
Okay, Jhin is just dead, but 𝘀𝗀𝗃 going low, but jumping away. 𝘁𝗀 can't get the follow-up. Vit burns the stopwatch. That's a valuable one. Careful, 𝘀𝗀𝗃. 𝘁𝗀 has surprising burst, but they just back off.
They just back off, and it's just a kill out to 𝘀𝗀𝗃. 𝘀𝗀𝗃, with his slippery fingers, manages to get out of there. Of course, on the Nidalee, he's kind of very mobile and also can heal himself back up, so he will be fine within the next minute. Maybe we'll just reset before the Ocean Soul fight. If there will be an Ocean Soul fight, I assume there would be. I mean, there's a lot of discussion going on if the Ocean Soul is really useful. There are so many squishy champions going around. I mean, if the Yasuo one-shots you, you probably do not make much use of it. Maybe Renekton to some extent does. In a siege situation, you can actually make decent use of it. It's just like poke back and forth. But of course, not the highest value soul, but it's still something you would like to have if you can have it for free on the side of 𝘀𝗀𝗃. And yeah, the game is just 𝘀𝗀𝗃. Getting leads, throwing them back away.
My opinion on the soul, my opinion on it is just that Team Secret is going to fight at this, and okay, if they lose the fight, 𝘀𝗀𝗃 will get the soul and win, but it won't be because of the soul. It'll be because they won the fight. And if
that might be the case.
If Team Secret win the fight, then the game continues. You know, the soul itself doesn't matter. The soul is just an excuse for the teams to fight.
I mean, they don't really need a reason to fight this VCS. I mean, they will fight either way. Just gotta say, if Team Secret finds a way to give up the soul, they probably should. That's like what it's all about. 𝘀𝗃 now going in very deep into
𝘀𝗃. This is a two-front battle as DNK moving in onto 𝘀𝗃. I feel like this is not where you want your Yasuo. He gets the kill regardless. Jhin doing a hell of a lot of damage onto Blazers. They need to lock him down. Gets found up, burning down, but doesn't... He does fall in the end. 𝘁𝗃 on the other side. DNK finds a last breath, charging on forward, and this is what I mean. All they need is the excuse, 𝘀𝗀𝗃, as DNK trying to find 𝘀𝗀𝗃 can't do it. Still has a GA as well, as there is the binding, there is the Vex damage, and 𝘁𝗀 will go down.
They finished.
Whoa. They're going to go for the end. This is risky.
DNK has vision on him. He will stop the recall. He will die for it, but he will stop the recall. They are thinking they just managed to win the game. He has GA for it, yeah. He actually just lets him recall and take the Drake, so maybe they just don't go for the finishing call there. Maybe they will anyway. I don't know why DNK then just doesn't stop the back. He just won the game with catching out 𝘀𝗀𝗃 and then just still winning a 3-man last breath. DNK won the game with the Yasuo jungle, and that's like the third thing. Right? Yasuo jungle is 50% win rate in the VCS.
Yep, it is 50% win rate as Team Secret come from behind, come out of nowhere, and they take the first game off of 𝘀𝗀𝗃. Look, I started this game in my apartment with my beautiful 4 solid walls. I closed my eyes for a moment, and now I'm in a tent. There's a clown over there. There's a lion. When did I get taken to the circus?
I don't really know, and I think this shouldn't have been Team Secret's game either. I mean, I did predict them to want to win. Maybe they actually will manage to do so, but I mean, it was DNK's Yasuo show, and his Yasuo in the mid game we saw, it wasn't even that good. That's the kind of the sad thing. He just got 500 kills on the side of 𝘀𝗀𝗃, and still in the mid game he had some trouble, not because of his inability or anything, but just because
Welcome back, everybody. Is it the day of upsets? Are the underdogs biting? Because so far, 3 games in a row, the team we would never expect to win has been the ones destroying the Nexus. Flash got 2, and Secret has just got 1. We are here with the VCS English Analyst Desk, 𝘀𝘀cie and 𝘀𝗶𝗹𝗀𝗀. Marby, what the hell happened?
Coded forgot he's not on Team Secret anymore. Like, that's what happened. That man was just chain feeding. It was absurd. And despite the best efforts of the bot lane, the Yasuo got too fed. The Vex had some fantastic ults that just set everything up for the side of Team Secret. And they worked their little hearts out. They tried so hard, especially poor little H3, but nothing could come from it. You're playing 4v5. Not 4v6.
How do you fix this, 𝘀𝘀cie? How does 𝘀𝗀cie bounce back?
Don't pick Renekton mid and put Coated. I mean, you could still put him back on the Jace, but Coated needs to have the talk. You know, he needs to you're not on Team Secret anymore. You play for 𝘀𝗀cie now. 𝘀𝗀cie is writing your checks, and do not play so disrespectfully. Respect the enemy jungler, even if it is a Yasuo jungle, which, to his fairness, actually to Coated's fairness, is very hard to do because it is indeed a Yasuo jungle. But when you're out of mana, he can just run you down either way. So take care, Coated, and don't end as much because bot lane, surprisingly, I rarely say this, Vid and H3 played very, very well, and they kind of got warped by the rest of their team this time. And Killer Queen also, I mean, he had like some missteps, but overall he was fine, I would say.
Yeah. He got let down by his champion a little bit. The fact of the matter is, Nidalee loses her usefulness at a point and just becomes a burst bot.
Doesn't do anything but looks good while doing it.
It's true. Moving into game 2, can Team Secret replicate this? Do you think the draft was actually is Yasuo jungle good? Is what I'm getting at. Is Yasuo jungle actually good, 𝘀𝘀cie?
No. The short answer is no. The long answer is it could just be straight up played mid lane or top lane, depending on the matchup. I think it would actually be somewhat... it wouldn't be fighting against Renekton mid, to be fair, and Renekton mid was on the table. And also against the Jace, maybe that's why they've actually flexed into the jungle, because against the Jace it would also not be as ideal, I would say. But you just get better results with lane Yasuo usually, and we just saw this game. I mean, 𝘀𝗀𝗀 had 20,000 kills or whatever he had, and there were still some team fights where it was looking rough and he couldn't really carry his team there. And in the end, he relied on Coated, making it easy for him to some extent, and then the West clumping, with Blazes also inting on the other side of the skirmish. And you cannot rely on that because... thus the consequence is that Yasuo jungle is indeed not a good pick, despite having a 50% win rate in the VCS.
Of 2 games.
That's
the qualifier.
Play it 10 times, it will lose 7 times, Morgan.
As has been pointed out, that is the first time in League of Legends history that Yasuo jungle has won in a professional game. We have just made history, to put it out there. Look, it's also the 4th time it's been played.
I mean, my take on Yasuo jungle is, as I've already said on Twitter, if I open 𝘀𝘀cie Cup tomorrow and see Yasuo jungle being played, I'm quitting League of Legends because I don't want to live in this world.
Fingers crossed.
I don't want to associate.
Jungle. Fingers crossed for Yasuo jungle. Moving into game 2.
Fine.
Put Pippin on. Moving into game 2. What do they need to fix? Do you think the draft was actually the issue, 𝘀𝘀cie, or was it just purely play? Do you think a salty runback suits 𝘀𝗀cie?
I think it's half and half, and I usually wouldn't call it salty runback, but in this case it would be very salty, to be fair. But gotta say, I mean, the Renekton mid lane thing, it could have worked out, actually. I just think you could just go Renekton really top, just pick a mid laner that for places that just scales evenly to the next to the Vex. There are picks like that. I think Victor was probably banned from what I can recall. Maybe just pick an Orianna, pick any mate, pick a Ryze maybe for him, and just play a standard game of League of Legends, and you probably will not have too much trouble there. So aside from that, just fix Coated's issues he had in this game, because he really had trouble respecting 𝘀𝗀𝗀, and he needs to do that more.
We're into draft. We'll have to see if they change anything up. Team Secret obviously moving over to the blue side for this one. I wonder if a Nocturne will sort of slip through. The fact that 𝘀𝗀cie feel the need to constantly ban that, even though the champion is not actually that strong. 𝘀𝗀 just really likes it. But it is banned.
And no one likes playing against it. So I think
true.
that's a bit of a part. That's part of the reason that you don't want to be uncomfortable in a game due to this paranoia. I think we're going to see the same bans come out of 𝘀𝗀. I do think the biggest issue from them was sort of the fact that the draft was so snowball or bust. Coded didn't play well, of course. That's something to criticize from that last game. But I think if you sort of revert to a more standard impact-heavy jungler on the lanes that 𝘀𝗀 can try and make those impacts happen and work alongside Coded a little bit better, that'll carry you through, I think. You can write that one off as an anomaly if you work towards a better draft setup. And I'm just sick of this. I'm just sick of this 𝘂𝗎. So you take away the Gragas, which is a more ordinary pick that can fit into any other comp. It also gets rid of the 𝘂𝗎, in theory.
First
We
pick
could
the
see
Vex.
Cal. It's true.
I mean, it's
From
Vietnamese
Malphite.
Cow series. As the Vex will be first picked. Unsurprising. Jerry had a very good game on that one. So, good start to the draft.
Yeah, good start to the draft. Usually you would pick bot lane now, but it is within H3. Maybe they actually just go Caitlyn 𝘀𝗀 right now. I mean, Caitlyn is already there. Maybe you wouldn't pick the 𝘀𝗀 that early because you don't need it. I mean, you just really want to pair the 𝘀𝗀 with the Caitlyn. And 𝘀𝗀's talent is very often banned, and he just gets it again. Also, a very strong pick coming from his side. Gotta say though, Talon might have trouble diving a Vex because the Vex can just fear him if she is up to the task and has her buttons ready. And it won't be that easy for 𝘀𝗀. I really like the Talon though.
Oh my god.
Oh no, he does it.
I quit.
Locked in. There's no Gragas, no big setup. 𝘀𝗀 just likes 𝘂𝗎 jungle. He just likes it.
At this point, I hope it's a ban on 𝘂𝗎 and Malphite. Just to say, go away, you don't get good knockups. And then they're
Yeah, they could just pick the 𝘂𝗎.
gonna pick the 𝘂𝗎, I suppose, but...
Yeah. Just for the record, Rebel Fox, if you're listening, I do not hate 𝘂𝗎. I love 𝘂𝗎 here because you just want to deny it that much from 𝘂𝗎. The pick is fine. You can play around it, especially with the Caitlyn traps. And yeah,
Malphite
ban
ban!
Malphite ban. Yeah, just make it hard for him. It's literally
ban-
all you need to do now.
What next? 𝘁𝗀, get rid of the 𝘁𝗄 Fissure?
I don't.
What
Yeah, it
next?
is.
I think you might want. I think you'd be fine if they want to play Jhin 𝘁𝗀. I'm gonna be honest.
True.
That's a
I mean, you
pretty
were
awful
playing
lane.
Caitlyn 𝘂𝗎, so it sort of works out even. 𝘁𝗀
True.
has a lot more lane presence than an 𝘂𝗎.
Jack's being removed. They are going to target Coded's champion pool, which does make a lot of sense. He can be a carry player. Obviously, game one was shocking. He'll be looking to bounce back in this one. I mean, I'm just curious. I just want to know what this second ban's going to be.
Wukong. They want to play Jace maybe, and Wukong would be good.
That
Yeah,
makes
On
sense.
makes sense as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you just pick that much changes. I would assume maybe put on the Wise, but Corki's also fine.
Corki.
Elvis is a good farmer.
Now, Marby, I know you want to talk about this, so go ahead.
So 𝘁𝗀, at the current moment, gets to do one of my favorite things that very
true.
few champions get to do, and just build the wildest shit. So you're rushing your Muramana. Okay, fine. Then you can pivot either into Ravenous Hydra or Ludens, and then you wind up with 2 AD items and then the rest AP. And once you're at full build, you just one big one can just nuke an entire ADC. If he lands a big one onto Eddie's just dead. No hope in hell of getting out of that from there. And I love this pick so much now. The build is so wacky and wonderful, and it looks like complete garbage when you look at it and you're like, huh? But yeah, the impact is so good because you do a hell of a lot of magic damage, you do a hell of a lot of AoE thanks to the Ravenous splash, and you got a lot of sustain thanks to Omnivamp. Again, the burst from the big ones or your Phosphorus Bomb is insane. So you're not just really auto attacking, you become this really strong artillery mage, and I love this build. I love the innovation that whoever the hell thought of it. I think it's an NA 𝘁𝗀 one trick. I can't remember their name, but
Maybe.
So
I've been watching 𝘁𝗃𝗀𝗀 play it. I'm sure. I doubt he came up with the build.
No.
That sounded meaner than I meant it to be, but he does. It is ridiculous. It does so much damage. It's insane. But everything is locked in. They did round it out with an 𝘁𝗃𝗀𝗀. Now that we can see both sides, 𝘀𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀, who do you think come out on top?
I'd say 𝘀𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗀 because Team Secret, while they have set up for Yasuo, it's still a Yasuo jungle. What happened last game shouldn't happen, and I still think it's far from ideal to have. I actually like the Wukong pick up again because we haven't seen Wukong in a while. I think this champion is still decently strong. Also a pick that they played decently well earlier on with Nagia, and it also denied a potential Jace picker on the side of 𝘁𝗃𝗃 to really have anything to say against it because Wukong does counter Jace, and Wukong works very well with Yasuo. It's like a budget method ultimate with the Cyclone coming out, also decently strong dueling power on his own. But still, I mean, you have the Killer Queen on the Talon, you have a 𝘁𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 with a very strong build at the moment, also very strong come mid game. A rounded draft on the side of 𝘀𝗀𝗃. I'm not quite sure how good 𝘁𝗃𝗃 actually works against Wukong, but it is a pick by choice. And with the stronger individual top laner, I like to think that 𝘁𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 has something planned in this matchup. And also the bot lane looking fine for them, so I think that 𝘀𝗀𝗃 has this pretty comfortably.
𝘁𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃, do you agree? Do you disagree?
The big thing that turns me off is, well, the last pick of 𝘁𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃, for the simple fact that you don't really have a lot of contingencies. Like, you have a lot of range and you can throw out poke for days as the game goes on. But 𝘁𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 needs that, like, 3 items to really start hammering home that poke damage. Whereas you look across at the Wukong and the Nautilus as fairly close to guaranteed engages for the side of the Yasuo and can get on top of whoever they want with ease. You don't have any way at all to prevent that besides H3 playing out of his mind on an Alistar, and I think that's nowhere near enough. So it could go very well for 𝘀𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃, and if they snowball it out from lane advantages and the range and can control vision and poke extremely well, yeah, I can see that. But if they get jumped on, they're just dead. I don't see a way out of it if they don't keep perfect track of a Wukong.
Fair enough. We know we do have a little bit of time to talk because it's been weird today. I think I do think they're just dealing with. I think they're just dealing with being on live server. I think what I think is happening. I don't know why we're talking about this on broadcast. They're doing a draft and then leaving and then doing a blind pick.
Yeah,
because then you don't have the spectator delay. I think. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. How do you actually want to see the teams play this out? 𝘁𝗶𝗹𝗀𝗀, I'll ask you first. How does 𝘀𝗀𝗃 actually start this game out? How do they play the early game? How do they play the mid game?
Oh man, I don't know. Talon has to try and get around and help the lanes and try and get them to sort of snowball ahead. And I think it's a little bit of keeping track of DNK and stopping him from being able to do anything. But by the same token, I don't know where he goes. He doesn't have good setup in any lanes. Like, you have the headbutt pulverize from Alistar as your only real strong form of CC until the package arrives for Blazers. So he's going to have very limited options. Whereas Team Secret, yeah, there's a lot of setup for the Yasuo if he can find his way in. And how do 𝘀𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 go? I have no idea. That's the thing. Like, it's going to come down to just being better players, and I'm not sure. Like, going off that last series, I don't think that's quite there enough that you can rely on that, especially on like this top lane with how 𝘁𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 played last time. The 𝘁𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 picks just, I think, kind of thrown the whole composition into a disaster. I think he needed something that could at least like block it off. Like, obviously Gragas was banned, that would have been the ideal one, but some form of tank or at least someone that brings rejection CC. As much as I love the 𝘁𝗃𝗃𝗃 pick and I love to see it, a Syndra would have rounded this comp out perfectly. For example, just having that scat of the week to knock him back. And yeah.
Going to you, 𝘀𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃, how does Team Secret want to play this one? How do they approach this early game?
I mean, DNK would just usually just farm his first 3 or 4 levels out, and then maybe just get a good lucky gank onto Coated again if he happens to overextend. But if that doesn't happen, he will just maybe have to power farm a few more levels until he's like level 6, and then he will start contesting stuff. Maybe they can go for an early Scuttle fight together with Nautilus because you can actually do something decently there. But this also just depends on the priority matchups in the bot and mid lane there, because I think 𝘀𝗶𝗃 with Vex against Blaze's 𝘁𝗃 is a little bit of a toss-up. Who really have the priority there on the Scuttle, and maybe you just don't even fight for it because it's not that available anymore. I see Marby's pointed that the comp from 𝘀𝗃cie is not that rounded out, by the way. There needs to be a little bit more of a rounding out that thing that really disengages it, as Sundo would have been, as a tank in the top lane would have been, and with Coated Zacali, it's a little bit of a toss-up now, because this is just a pick that you usually want to pick to style on the enemy, and Coated in this game 1 definitely hasn't done so.
Looking at it, though, I think Team Secret are potentially in a position to confirm a 2-0 and get the second upset of the day. By no means impossible for 𝘀𝗀cie. I think, yeah, the team comp is a little bit disjointed, but there's a lot of very strong individual champions. And of course, we know that these players are very talented. It's just going to come down to really who makes the better decisions here, as I do think we are fairly close to Summoner's Rift. So I'm going to get both of you to give me your actual predictions.
I'm leaning towards Team Secret, as it would take some massive lane gapping from 𝘀𝗀cie to really overcome the fact that they can't deal with the Wukong Yasuo combo. I don't think they have the means.
𝘀𝗀cie?
Considering what Marby said, she kind of won me over on this draft. I think Team Secret has it 2-0 and can end our suffering in that regard.
Fair enough. We will say goodbye to Marby for now, as myself and 𝘀𝗀cie will start a little bit early as we head over to the caster desk. Want to think about this game. Now, Vit and H3 actually had an insanely good game 1. As you said, they just kind of got let down by the rest of the team. Do you think they can replicate it? Obviously, 𝘀𝗀xe is a very different beast to 𝘀𝑎listair.
I think they can. I mean, starting level 2, they are a very oppressive lane, in my opinion. I just think that Jhin kind of matches the Caitlyn range there, and Nautilus is also fine into 𝘀𝑎listair. It's kind of like a toss-up between those two supports. There's not that much happening between them. And I think if 𝘂uhao plays like last game, he will definitely have some missteps on the Nautilus as well. I mean, a bad wedge line can just end up with you being in the enemy team. You having CC'd nobody, no Aftershock is being procced, no 𝘁𝗍ial is being procced either. I mean, none of those two. And you just end up being a surprisingly squishy support Nautilus, just in the arms of the enemy team, and you just easily die to them, especially with Vit on the Caitlyn, using the traps, using the kiting with the caliber net as well, and the headshots and the Pizza for Peacemakers. You can just do a lot to the champion like Nautilus. And I think the bot lane for 𝘀𝗀cie this time maybe has the team a bit on the back as well, because Blazes on the corgi needs to scale a little bit. Killer Queen not in the ideal position maybe to do that much in the early game on the talent. And let's just wait and see what they will do with it, because we are about to hit the Rift.
And we are onto the Rift, as you said, as we watch everyone head into the game. Always find it funny when a player plays one game with one skin and then the second game with the other, as 𝘀𝗀𝗃 has done on Vex. The best 𝘁𝗃 skin has been selected as well. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. I thought that was 𝘁𝗃. I was wrong. Not the best 𝘁𝗃 skin. I apologize.
Does Vex already have 2 skins? She's so new.
No, he used the base skin. In this game, he's using Dawnbringer.
Okay. I was about to say, like, Vex cannot have 2 skins already. I mean, what skin would you even have? Cafe Cutie Vex? I think that would look very weird, but not impossible to do.
Yeah, kind of cute. Gothic Lolita, yeah. Gothic Lolita style. That would be good. That'd be good. But regardless, it's not. It doesn't exist. It is just the Dawnbringer, 𝘁𝗃, and Vex facing off. I think this is going to be a quiet lane for a while.
Definitely will. I mean, Vex is not weak in lane, but she definitely cannot just have insane kill pressure early on. She also needs a level 6 to even have like somewhat of a decent CC setup offensively against the 𝘁𝗃. And I mean, 𝘁𝗃 is just the farming champion in the mid lane. There's not really much to argue about there. Maybe even Victor is a lot more in this direction as well. But 𝘀cie, I mean, no CC, just damage, some mobility, some armor shred that nobody even really cares about. And will be a very slow lane, and I don't expect any of the junglers to pay their attention much towards it, because the junglers themselves needs to farm a few levels, especially 𝘀𝗀𝗀 on the Yasuo. I mean, I usually just expect him to power farm to level 6 here. He didn't do that in the last game, but he
ignites down. Do they want to flash forward? Yep, 𝘁𝗏 will use his flash. Traded for 𝘁 though. That's a great trade for Team Secret.
And if Eddie maybe flash quits there onto 𝘁 maybe just dies, but it's so risky to do, so maybe better just not do it. If 𝘁𝗏 is there quick to react, he just dies on the turret himself, and 𝘁𝗏 gets some good setup for him. But good start for the bot lane of Team Secret there. I mean, level 1 abuse there, 𝘚listair couldn't really do anything yet, and 𝘁 has to burn both his summoners. In their fairness, 𝘁𝗏 also used his, so it's not the end of the world, but HP-wise, a huge W on the side of Team Secret.
Yeah, absolutely, as Blazers does get a good little chunk there onto 𝘁𝗏. Another Foss Bomb landing. Not going super well. Perhaps a little bit of unfamiliarity. 𝘀cie hasn't been meta in a while. But
definitely hasn't. Speaking of lanes not going well, 𝘀TD picked TP Ignite 𝘁𝗀 into 𝑊ukong, and 𝑊ukong, even without the Ignite, has dominated the first few levels as expected from the 𝑊ukong, and I really wonder how 𝘀TD 𝘁𝗀 will play out, because, I mean, when you pick 𝘁𝗁, you must be very confident. It is, I think, almost never the ideal pick to take unless you play like against immobile mages on the enemy team, and very easy to target carries, and a lot of, a low amount of CC, I would say, and 𝘀TD right now, I mean, first few levels have been rough. I wonder how it turns out, which item path he also goes, because we have seen Riftmaker 𝘁𝗁s, we also have seen Rocket Builder 𝘁𝗁s.
Hang on a minute.
And I wonder.
We have a scrap down in the bottom side. 𝘁3 has to burn his flash, and it ends up not going anywhere. Oh, but 𝘁𝗀𝗀 has been caught out. 𝘁𝗀𝗀 bearing on down. 𝘁𝗏 whips over some damage, but not enough to stop the parkour.
Not enough to stop the parkour, you just said. I mean, Talon, if you catch him, have you really caught him? You really need to really kill him to be 100% sure there. And the bot lane of 𝘀𝗏, they were the strong part last game. They might just fall prey to 𝘀𝗀𝗀 here. 𝘀𝗀𝗀 level 4 on the Yasuo, no CC on him. He would need to charge up the tornado, need to hit two Steel Tempests beforehand, but you cannot really do that in the jungle, so I'm really not convinced by the jungle pick. But maybe he can just at least threaten the dive here, but this is like the problem with Yasuo jungle, in my opinion. If this would be any other jungler, they would be scared very hard to just get dove there, and they just weren't.
Yeah, I mean,
can somewhat recover. They get some room to breathe.
That they do. They're doing okay. They managed to keep the wave in a decent spot when they hit their reset. They actually pick up the Noonquiver, so it's actually gone back at seemingly a better time. Jhin really wanted those boots. Couldn't actually quite afford the Noonquiver somehow. Must have been extremely close, as 𝘁𝗀𝗀 getting bullied a little bit as 𝘀TD manages to catch back up in farm.
Definitely does so. 𝘀𝗀𝗀 also just keeps farming. Now his blue side jungle got respawned, so he can keep getting those camps in. Start with the Zerkers just as last game, which is of course expected. You need the movement speed, especially in the jungle, to really do something in skirmishes, get like the ganks going, the attack speed, also reducing the Steel Tempest cooldown a little bit. And yeah, before he really starts getting the crit rounds out, he just needs the Noonquiver first beforehand as well. No, so now we see how the Yasuo jungle plays out when he's not accelerated with an early gank that works out in his favor. I mean, we just saw in the bot lane how he couldn't really do anything. And yeah, the bot lane of 𝘀𝗀𝗀 having a good reset, even a better one than the side of Eddie and 𝘁𝗏. And I wonder if the early game dominance from the Team Secret bot lane really accounted to anything, because just right now, 𝘁 and 𝘁𝗏 back to full HP, had the better reset, and they just got some room to breathe they shouldn't have gotten.
Yeah, it's very true. But so far, in terms of farm, it's dead even at the moment. It must just, I'm not even sure where this 200 gold lead is coming from, to be perfectly honest. Just, I think, slight farm differentials everywhere. But, ooh, 𝘁𝗀𝗀 coming on in. 𝘁𝗀𝗀 is low. That's a level 6 𝘁𝗁. He needs to play this really well, and I don't think there's actually a way to
hurry before he hits 6.
Yeah, he hasn't hit 6 yet. He flashes. He's doing his best. He might get a counter kill. He does. Very well played, 𝘁𝗀𝗀.
Very well played, but is it really fine for him is the question, because he also loses this huge wave there that might just make it not worth for him. I mean, of course, he made the best out of it. He didn't really have any chance there. He didn't hit level 6. He just now has it, gets a cyclone. He loses a whole wave. Also, a turret didn't go down. But on the other side, the crossmap play, 𝘀𝗀𝗃 gets some farming time. He's level 5 now. And also the Mountain Drake, which of course helps them to have like at least something going right for them in this time. And, I mean, 1-for-1 on the one side. Drake given over.
Shadow Surge.
Not ideal for Luxury either.
Dodged. And they do not read which way 𝘀𝗀𝗃 went, but he went back towards the jungle. I'm not sure that's where he wants to go. Gets feared, gets taken down. It was a big brain play, but he didn't have the step 2 planned out.
I'm not sure if that was such a big brain play at all, actually, because he does get to steal the blue buff there, but he also leashes it kind of for Jerry there, also feeds a kill onto him. And if this, you just accelerate the Vex, which wasn't happening before, so I think 𝘀𝗀𝗃 could have just walked out the jungle and been fine. Now he gave away a kill, gave away a blue buff. The blue buff would have likely been taken either way, let's be honest, but I mean, he just wasted some time on his own, and I think this was not necessary for him. Now, Team Secret, of course, a few hundred gold down because of Coated losing Nagia getting a huge wave that Coated didn't.
Hello,
but the bot lane-
𝘀𝗀𝗃 in trouble. He's going to be taken down. 𝘀𝗃𝗃 wants to trade it back. He gets very low. Ace in the hole, deadly flourish. Cancels the ultimate, doesn't want to go down, but it's going to be a dead Jhin regardless. 𝘀𝗃 CC'd up. Talon walks on in and takes the easiest hit in his life.
And that's an overstep, of course, for the side of Team Secret's bot lane. They lose one kill to 2v2, then try to get the other onto Vit. With the 4th shot crit, 𝘀𝗃 was threatening to kill Vit, but then having to cancel his ace in the hole with flashing defensively. Here we see the play again. It's just headbutt into turret. A lot of damage onto 𝘁. He gets trapped as well. Ignite down onto him. And Nautilus looks very tanky, but as a support, he isn't that tanky as long as Aftershock isn't out. So here he can just easily die. 𝘀𝗀𝗃 now also coming at the right time. He was just coming from base because he died earlier to the Vex and was in the right time to just get the kill. And I think Nagia just got solo boloed off screen. And Coated, I don't think he gets out here, let's be real. But maybe he can just win some time.
Yeah, he is going to go down. He's just going to hang out in his cloud. Gets hit by the tornado and will get taken down. So the Yasuo does trade it back. But regardless, the solo bolo picked up. Oh, and as we come in, 𝘀𝗀𝗃 has been found. The plane crashes. 𝘀𝗀𝗃 will bear down, take out the Nautilus. Jerry doesn't want to continue the fight. No Shadow Surge, so just the 1-for-1.
Just the 1-for-1. Just a 2-for-2 overall in this extended exchange. Yep. And I wonder how that happened there. Solo kills up on Akali are not a rare thing. And this just makes me worried because if this happens once, it tends to happen a lot more often than once because the gold also, I think there was no assist gold coming into for the Wukong. So 𝘀𝗀𝗃 just gets his kill on this regard. Code just got the solo kill. I mean, as long as Ignite will be available for Code, this might just happen again because Akali tends to run down laners in the long lane if she is ahead. And Code might be in a good position to carry this game now.
Ooh, that was actually really well done there by 𝘁, how hooked him out of the package. He trades his life for it, but that's worth. Kill a mid laner for your support, you take that.
Definitely do. And was like the best out of the bad situation for them. Hooking out of the package. 𝘁 again with another hook.
Bit in trouble, but look at 𝘁3! Proper Secret Service, flashes in, get down, Mr. President, as he soaks up all the bullets, pops the Alistar ult, and they both get back into the car.
They do, and Jerry doesn't do anything with TP yet again here.
No.
I just mentioned the top lane. And this is Ignite. Yeah, it will keep happening.
Does manage to survive.
It doesn't happen, but he still has to base now. It is again a lot more pressure for Coated because he can just throw in another wave.
Taken down by 𝘀𝗃𝗃. 𝘀𝗀𝗃 not there in time to answer. Not there in time to answer.
This 2v2 gets lost yet. Bases. Oh, Shadow Surge was missing from Jerry, but can the Vex actually run down the 𝘁𝗃? She can.
She certainly can. Flashes forward. Bit rude to flash onto someone and then demand personal space. But hey, who said Vex was nice? As a bit of yordle on yordle violence in the mid lane as it is a solo bolo over to Jerry.
Yeah, solo bolo for him. But speaking of that other,
I
cannot speak.
Never, ever. As 𝘀𝗀𝗃 does get rejected, the dash did cause the fear. Jerry now under tower. Whoa, 𝘀𝗀𝗃, this is really risky. He's marked up with the gloom. What the hell did... I have to just... When the replay comes, I'm going to lose my mind at that play. That was horrifically bad. As the bot lane, 𝘁and 𝘀𝗀𝗃 are there. There's a hook. They go onto the Alistar instead of onto the 𝘁𝗃. The headbutt moves 𝘀𝗀𝗃 over. Can he actually get something done here? As there's the Valkyrie away. Look at the damage on the turnaround, though. 𝘀𝗀𝗃 just dies.
𝘀𝗀𝗃 didn't have an ultimate available even to him. I was just wondering when is the last breath coming out? What kind of knockup is he waiting for? But there wasn't anything to wait for him. He just dies without last breath then. In a very awkward
He did use it.
2v2
He used
skirmish.
it on H3.
Oh, use it early.
Yeah, he used it onto the 𝘀𝗃 when the 𝘂𝗃 hook landed.
That explains it. He used it on the 𝘀𝗃, and you can't kill the 𝘀𝗃 in time when the 𝘁𝗃 is running you down and focusing you, so that was very much hard to do so. And yeah, he was the leader of 𝘁𝗃, and you really lose your mind on it.
This is the worst mistake. Why does he jump? He just marked himself. He just don't jump, and then you're not marked. What are you doing?
Or just don't go for the dive. You take third shot after third shot.
Just don't go for the dive. But also, why do the jump?
I don't know. Maybe he has a hot date and just expected to 0 series and doesn't want to win and wants to make it look somewhat believable, but he kind of doesn't, let's be honest.
Oh my word. 𝘂𝗃 does... He actually goes... No, he doesn't go down. I didn't think he did. I'm not sure why they were slowing it down. I was confused.
He's actually one of the few players playing fine in the series, so no.
Yeah, H3, he's actually... Yeah, the supports on both sides have been playing really well.
And here's the one with the Flash, Mantra, Q, and Karma last game, and he's still the one playing fine.
Oh dear, Jerry, he's in some trouble. 𝘀𝗃 is here, can run over towards him. The Shadow Surge does a lot of damage, but not enough.
Not enough, and we also start to see, I think, the item build that 𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗹𝘀 touched on earlier, but I think don't get to talk about it because there's nothing.
No, you don't, because there's a Wukong in the bottom lane. They're trying to go forward onto the 𝘀𝗃, but he's a very tanky lad as 𝘁𝗃 joins the play, and this 𝘁𝗃 is about to go absolutely buck wild. Oh, never mind, 𝘂𝗃 once again interrupting an 𝘁𝗃 with a hook in the VCS. We love seeing it. Now 𝘁𝗃 is managing to clean on up. One kill is traded back. There's the Jhin hitting the root, but it doesn't matter because the E is already there. 𝘁𝗃 bearing down on them. Parkour once again playing Assassin's Creed as 𝘁 gets a kill of his own. 4 members of Team Secret lie sundered on the rift.
4-for-1, very huge trade for 𝘀𝗃 here. They haven't had a very rough game the minutes before, but yeah, they really punish it well on the side of 𝘀𝗃. 𝘁𝗃 is so far ahead of 𝘁𝗃. I mean, even 𝘂𝗃 landing godlike hooks onto him doesn't really stop him there. And the curtain call is not ideal from Eddie. He was like in a very vulnerable position where he castled it, and they could just run them down one by one there. And here we see again what happened mid lane. 𝘁𝗃 with a lot of damage onto 𝘁𝗃, and 𝘁𝗃 dying into trouble. Or managing to kill the backs there because of the very well placed Valkyrie. And
So
yeah, Eddie
starts
is
out
getting TP'd
well.
on. It starts off well, yeah.
But 𝘁𝗃, he's big.
Yeah, he's big. The Cyclone only just buys some time. They cannot really kill 𝘁𝗃 here, apparently, because she's just too tanky and can use the Shroud to evade some auto attacks. Also, Jhin very low on mana, so Eddie can just fall to... Does he die to the Ignite? He doesn't, right? He just gets picked up by 𝘁𝗃 on the backside, and it's just dive into the Jhin, dive into the Vex on the side of 𝘀𝗃. And what I wanted to address earlier before the skirmish is the 𝘁𝗃 item build, because it's actually going towards what 𝘁𝗶 said with Manamuna and another mana crystal.
About things as there goes the package. Vex is going to join the play, though, immediately gets CC'd up. Nothing happens. Misery only being spread to her own team, as 𝘂𝗃 will be the next one to fall. They dredge him up and dump him back down.
And this is just a classic hard engage when hard engage doesn't really immediately lead to any takedowns or any kills of the sort. If it just doesn't work, then you just get run down and get frontal back by what Blazes can offer with his damage on the 𝘁𝗃, by what 𝘁 can offer on the Caitlyn, or in this case, I think it was 𝘁𝗃 with the Wake coming in to get the kill. And it just seems to fall apart for Team Secret now. Yasuo jungle not really working out anymore. And with some early game mishappenings on the side of 𝘀𝗃, they are back in control. They now just get TP'd on, though.
Yeah, Eddie's in a lot of trouble. He's going to immediately go down. Jerry will manage to trade it back onto 𝘁𝗃. That tower nice and heated up. H3's here to make sure nothing else happens. There's also no Shadow Surge. Jerry, I think you need to be careful walking forward here. But with 𝘀𝗃 as backup, he seems okay. Steps on a trap, but 𝘁 doesn't want to follow up on that one. Just going to be that one headshot.
Just one trap to really disengage it. I'm kind of scared how big the Vex movement speed is actually, because 𝘁 really had to run there apparently, and that was scarier than I initially thought it was. Kind of say though, in this skirmish, 𝘁𝗃 with a very horrible flash. He was already dying to the turret and tried to flash the turret shot, and
hang on,
just really distributed
going low. The Yasuo will fly on in. Now needs to deal with Blazes on top of him. Gets traded.
And we need to keep track on what Blazes is really building here. He's a Remodens. Luden's more mana soon to come out for him, and he's getting a lot of gold. So we will likely see the Hydro next for the 𝘁𝗀𝗋, and I'm really looking forward to see those rockets that maybe one-shot the Jhin later on in the game. I have always really seen a 𝘁𝗀𝗋 rocket with that item build chunking an AD carry from 100% HP to 20% HP, and maybe we'll see it again this game. Looking forward to it. And just want to keep talking about what Killer Queen did earlier. I mean, he just flashed. Maybe I was rested with the turret damage and didn't expect to die from this. Then DNK just now, I mean, he gets at least one kill. I think onto 𝘁𝗄 it was, but he just dies. And 21-for-1 against the 𝘁𝗀𝗋 is not a smart decision, in my opinion, because 𝘁𝗀𝗋 is like one of the best scalers in the game overall. He does so much with a lot of gold on his back, and his items tend to be very expensive, so it really makes a difference for him. And we are soon to find out how this 𝘁𝗀𝗋 really pops off with the Luden's build.
Yeah, I am really curious. I know I saw a few people in chat discussing how perhaps this build is a little bit overrated. I am eager to see how it plays out, as Blazers is. Oh my! I mean, come on.
It falls off late game, but you are mid game champ.
Yep, Jerry is going to go gold, and just Blazers kills him.
Good night, and it won't get better. I'm just gonna say that.
I mean,
the thing that surprised me, that build was always possible. It just kind of got found out now.
Yeah. As
no changes to it either.
I mean, it's a very weird build, you know? Sometimes it just takes a madman to actually think of something and do the testing. Because things
it looks like something.
It looks like a troll build.
It looks like something I would build in Aram when I get 𝘁𝗀𝗋, because I'm not an ADC or mid lane main.
𝘁𝗀𝗋 also dying in the top side, gets soloed out by Coded. That's another matchup that doesn't get better, 𝘀cie. As Rift Herald summoned up on the bot side, there is a death bush, but I don't think it's going to be activated.
The frenetic brush, but in lane. I remember that brush. It was also where like the big old season 5 something trap came out, where they just all got equalized.
Yeah,
real OGs remember it. You remember it. That's great.
I've been watching League since season 2. Okay.
Yeah, but I think about it, I still hear Monte Cristo's heartfelt laugh about that play. It was very good. And here we see another rocket checking half HP of Jerry out. And the Hydra is not done yet. I just need to remind everyone of that, because the item build will get more disgusting. Gotta say, late game it actually falls off, but 𝘁𝗀𝗋 is a late game champion, not a mid game champion anymore.
But 𝘀𝗀𝗋,
there won't be a 6 item late game. Yeah.
We need to address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the clown in the tent, as 𝘀𝗀𝗋 has a 10k gold lead at 19 minutes.
Yeah, slowly but surely. I mean, it looked really rough earlier, but now they really got control of the game. They won every skirmish. I mean, the harding edge really didn't pop off. Top lane is completely lost. 𝘁𝗋𝗋 are really losing to Coded there. Since that one solo kill, it was looking kind of doomed against the 𝘁𝗀𝗋. It's not really, I wouldn't really say his fault, because he also got counterpicked, and it's looking rough, man. I mean, 𝘁𝗀𝗋𝗋 with Ignite is not really that fair, and he just got free-manned again. I mean, what does 𝘁𝗀𝗋 even want to do? I mean, he needs to pick up some farm, needs to get some relevance. I mean, he basically just now is relegated to being a Cyclone ultimate bot for DNK on the Yasuo jungle, and that's not an ideal spot to be in, to say the least.
This is a rough one, certainly. For Team Secret, it's going to be a 20-minute Baron picked up. Absolutely no chance of contesting. This is
absolutely no chance.
What do you even do? Blazers dives himself in, perhaps going a little bit too far there, but he does set up the rest of the team. It doesn't even matter. He just laid out the red carpet. Coded goes gold inside the shroud. Already has a double kill. It's a pentakill angle, but I don't think he's going to be able to go for it, as Team Secret do manage to disengage. I say they managed to disengage. I think more like 𝘀𝗀𝗋 just decides not to kill them right now.
Definitely so. And I mean, there's not really anything that Team Secret can do at this point. They are like 12,000 gold down. The Baron is also on the enemy team. It will be a Hextech Soul. Maybe we get to see that. Actually, I think this 𝘁𝗀𝗋 build with a Hextech Soul would be very funny to see. Maybe he gets a literal one-shot with a big one rocket there. Looking forward to maybe seeing that one. But my fear now is the game might end before that, so there's not really much room left to play with on the side of Team Secret. I mean, this Baron push should at least lead inhibitors. Maybe even get a good fight right now. Killer Queen just kills Eddie.
Yep, it's going to be the kill picked up. 𝘂𝗏 going down as well, and 𝑑nK falling. This time I can't even blame the observers. How can you get everything on screen? There is just bodies dropping everywhere. A rant? What the hell? I just saw a shadow surge. Hello? What? Did Shadow just want to go for a walk? I mean, I wouldn't want to hang out with this Vex, to be fair. Ace in the hole is thrown in, stopping the recall. 𝘀𝗏 sieging in onto the inhibitor tower. Well, we're getting a 3-game series.
We definitely will. I mean, this game is all about done, and it just needs to be wrapped up on the side of 𝘀𝗀 now. Here we see what happened top side. Coated again. When against 𝘀𝗏. 𝘀𝗏 actually has some outplay potential against him. And yeah, I mean, it is actually worth. I mean, it's 1k shutdown, 1-for-1 trade. You need 2 people to do it, but it is against a Baron up team even though. So you can do something here. Blazes might just get caught here, but he is on the package. He has additional movement speed and can use a big package out. And he also should. Wait, that was not a big... That was just a small package, actually.
It's a lot of damage. As they're going in once again. The 1-for-1 has been declared. 𝘂𝗏 goes low. He gets cut down by the execution from the 𝘂𝗏. 𝘀𝗏 reigns in a shot, takes down the Windman. And I think we are about to see the game end. I mean, good luck, analysts. That includes you, 𝘀cie. Yeah, good luck breaking down everything that's actually going on in this series, because apparently nothing matters. It's just which team actually decides to win. The Siege coming in, Coded going low. Cyclone is actually going to buy a lot of time. This might actually prevent them from ending. Perhaps a little bit too greedy there by 𝘀𝗀. Nope. They are totally fine. They walk forward. They take everything down. And easy peasy, lemon squeezy, 𝘀𝗀 looking luxurious.
Yeah, 𝘀𝗀 definitely looking luxurious there. I really liked the coated 𝘂𝗏 pickup. It really shut me down pretty much after the draft. I wasn't really convinced by it, but it was a good counter pick against the Wukong there. Not really much that Nagia could do in the game. And 𝑑nK's Yasuo goes out with another loss. Now back to 33% win rate. And yeah, really looking forward to see what game 3 brings us, because 𝘀𝗀, if they are somewhat serious and if they are trying and having like some decent fundamentals within the draft, can decently easy beat Team Secret.
Yeah, they certainly can. But with that, we're going to go to a break. We'll see you guys in about 7 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. It truly has been an interesting 2 games, but we have drawn level 1-1. Team Secret fell in game 2 in spectacular fashion, as 𝘀𝗀 was not happy about losing game 1 and absolutely destroyed them. We welcome 𝘁𝗏 back to the analyst desk, and what was your take on game 2?
So my theory for game 2 was that 𝘀𝗀 would not be able to stand up to the team fighting of Team Secret. It would get to a point where the Wukong and the Yasuo would just be unable to be stopped. They can just get in and completely disrupt everything that wants to happen from 𝘀𝗀. But 𝘀𝗀's response to that was just, well, you don't get to team fight stage. We will have a 10k gold lead in 19 minutes. You can take that and put that where you want it, because you're just going to lose at that sort of gold lead. Unless, I mean, no one less, they just lost at that gold lead.
Exactly. And what changed? Like, I don't actually think it was a draft thing. I think it was just they just decided to play. Do you agree, 𝘀𝗀?
I somewhat agree. I mean, the draft was also a little bit better in that regard, that they didn't have a reluctant mid going on for them. And I think that the problem we initially discussed, that they maybe lacked disengage, wasn't that bad, because Blazes on the Conquer could still kite around, and the Alistar was maybe enough of a disengage for them. And as soon as Killer Queen figured his stuff out, where he went like for this horrible mid lane diver to the Vex, where he took 3 turret shots for no reason and wasted his mark. Afterwards, the people have a very strong aim on this talent and showed why it is usually banned against him. And other than that, I just really like what Coded showed this game, because he was really up to the task against the Wukong, getting the 𝘂𝗏 counter pick really rolling for him. And yeah, 𝘀𝗀 just wanted to make it short in the second game.
That they did. 𝘁𝗶, how do Team Secret fight back? Is 𝘀𝗀 just awake and angry and Team Secret can't do anything? Or do they have a path to victory?
try not to get counterpicked. I suppose is the big option here, because
Just draft better forehead.
Draft better forehead. Set yourself up that you can contest lanes a little bit better. Don't let them get to that same sort of lead, because I mean, as I said, I think their draft was actually very well set up to bully what came out from 𝘀cie, but the players couldn't get that, and so I think if they go for if it's a similar situation, but you have stronger laners, that seems to be the way to go. Maybe you look to just prioritize this Caitlyn, take it away from 𝘁. That might be your option. Eddie is a fantastic ADC normally, so give him the big carry pants.
Fair enough.
The hat, I suppose, with the champion in question.
Yeah, true. 𝘀cie, what do you want to see 𝘀cie doing to close this one out? We are heading into draft, but I still want you to answer the question, because 𝘀cie is heading into playoffs. Like, this series itself doesn't matter, but we still need to evaluate their form for the next step.
I actually wanted to not show anything special. Just do not reinvent the wheel. Just play towards your usual strength. Draft a standard comp and just play League of Legends, and you should be better than then Team Secret is, and do the usual thing, like draft towards your mid jungle, maybe counterpick for Coded if you can. On Blue Sets, it is of course a bit harder to do so. Get like at least one decent counterpick for one solo lane. That is all I basically asked for, and a pick that 𝘁 and H3 are comfortable on, because they tend to usually be the weak link, and Eddie and 𝘀cie are somewhat of a strong link on the side of Team Secret. Maybe if you get the Caitlyn yourself, you are up set up for success, I would say, and the Caitlyn versus 𝘁 is something that works out wonders for them in general. Even in the loss, it was fine. So right now, as their first pick, I would still see the Caitlyn being very high priority for them, and other than that, just play standard and win.
Yeah,
Marby,
so,
what are you thinking?
What am I thinking? Yeah, so we've left open the Caitlyn. That should be the first pickup snap from 𝘁. It's been fantastic so far. I would have liked to see that banned instead of the Graves. I don't think the Graves, well, Coded's are alright Graves. I don't think it's so scary. You're like, oh no, must ban. But you take away the Caitlyn, you push 𝘁 onto something like the Lucian Nami. Has been a fallback for them, and I think that's a bit easier to attack if you find something that can sort of like hit back hard in the early game. Something like a 𝘁cia, it could have been it. But so this is a very interesting sort of run. I'm not sure how this 𝘁cia is going to go. You have the good engage post 6, but I don't think your early lane is quite strong enough to match up to the Caitlyn. So it's going to come down to supports, I think, is the big way to win that lane.
Definitely will be. I mean, 𝘁cia is of course not outranging the Caitlyn by any means. She's actually very short range, but still very strong early. She just relies on the all-in, so you would want a good all-in support. That would be the 𝘁cia, and of course, you just pick away the 𝘁cia. Again, great 𝘁cia pickup by H3, and I am completely unironic about this. It was a great lane last game for them. Usually, I mean, Eddie otherwise would have picked the 𝘁, so I actually like them throwing a curveball, going with the 𝘁cia. That is something that either works very, very well or very, very poorly for them. And yeah, with 𝘁cia being off the table, Nautilus would be like the best replacement in the direct sense, I would say. So I like the Nautilus here. Could have still been a Leona or something.
Yeah, Leona or Rel. I think a much
Cannon support.
Yeah. I don't like Nautilus, really. I mean, it's giving them that Yasuo angle. Please just ban it, 𝘀cie, please. I don't want to see it anymore. But yeah, I would have much rather seen a Rel, which also sets up Yasuo if you don't want to go for that. And is not a fairly squishy guy pretending to be a tank because he has an aftershock. That's what Nautilus is. Like, it's a good engage champion for sure, but I think Rel does that better and is tankier and can survive being thrown into the middle of the team.
Production just carrying L's today, by the way.
And actually release one though. Yeah, it's a series release ban this time. Not a redraft release ban. I mean, actually the release ban, I can rationalize it because the bot lane is such a strong all-in on the side of Team Secret. You don't want additional focus onto that. Or, of course, deny Renekton Elise. No. It is something that can work, and
It would be
Yeah.
hilarious if this Yasuo gets picked away. That would be so funny.
Players just go Yasuo
Nah.
Malphite just to shut down whatever the hell, because Team Secret are gunning for that Yasuo. You can tell. It's going to be a Renekton mid. It's going to be a...
LeBlanc, okay, that makes more sense. I almost think you could have gone back to the 𝘁cie, but they just decide, no, we want to put Blazers on a more dynamic champion. This build of 𝘁cie is actually pretty dynamic, but regardless, they put him on the LeBlanc, and it looks like Coded going back to a tried and true Camille.
I like it because Coded then likely goes for TP Ignite Camille even and would punish the Renekton greatly. He actually doesn't go for Camille at all. He goes for Gangplank, and this is a pick I think that hasn't been played at all in the VCS Winter Split so far.
Not at all.
And Gangplank is surprising because he actually does surprisingly well against Renekton. He can just remove 𝘀cie, the Ruthless Predator stun. He can bully from range starting at level 1 with the Parlay. And LeBlanc is like basically putting the curveball back to Team Secret, saying, how dare you pick Yasuo, you wouldn't have fun in lane. And yeah, you kind of counterpick top lane there, you will win lane and outscale. And yeah, mid lane, I'm not quite sure that Qiyana will work out there, also gets outranged. And it's just basically all in and win for Team Secret, or if the all in doesn't go right, they will just likely just get chased away and lose this game.
So,
I mean, it'll be very easy to tell if Team Secret is winning a fight, because it will be over in 3 seconds.
yeah. So I think, in general, I would have liked the Vex more than the Qiyana, but I like the idea
Same.
that... I like the move of just saying, haha, we have bamboozled you. We aren't going to go for the Yasuo. You don't get the easy lane of Gangplank into Gragas. We're gonna put the Gragas in the jungle and have a good old time down there. Now we have a regular mid laner and a Crocodile on the top side. Then they pick Qiyana and kind of remove the regular mid laner part of that. But hey, maybe it can happen. You should be able to get something going on. It's not like... No, I have no idea. That it's going to be a fairly rough into the LeBlanc. I can't say I've seen a mid lane Qiyana in a very, very, very long time. Not since like Demonte on Clutch back in the day, and that's 2019.
That was 2019, but I think 𝘁cie played it against Jensen and absolutely crushed him in this. And that was a little bit of an unfortunate situation. Either way, also a big skill difference between the players. Gotta say, Vex was open, and Vex is good against LeBlanc, to what I know. It will be a bit hard considering the priority, but the LeBlanc can ever dash into you. You can really well deny her there. And Vex is just such a well-rounded champion for them, and they go for the curveball there, the risky pick in the Qiyana, and this is just either going very well or very horribly wrong for them. And gotta say, it has its win con instead of Team Secret. They can just maybe find a good hard engage angle, maybe a good dredge line from 𝘀𝗏 will start it off. He has been good on hook support, his flash was decent so far, and there's a chance they win with this, but if the early game goes wrong, it just all goes wrong for them.
Yeah, I certainly agree. Let's have a look over at the 𝘀WWE side. I kind of want to get both of your thoughts on this Gangplank. As you mentioned, 𝘀cie, it's good into Renekton because you can cleanse the Ruthless Predator. But Gangplank is not good at the moment. I went and checked win rates, and it's dire.
Yeah.
Solo queue doesn't always translate to pro play, but it's very dire for the Pirate.
Yeah, this Gangplank's a little bit interesting. I think it's a little bit of them trying to flex, but yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how it goes out. I think 𝘀sury's game plan is very much still along the lines of win lane, win game, just based off what they have. They don't have super fantastic like engage outside the Alistar or a good Lee Sin kick, so can't really set up these huge wombo team fights on like the side of Secret. So gonna be a little bit of trying to get this lane pressure going and then play around vision, look for pickoffs with your mid jungle duo, look for good siege setup with the Gangplank and the Caitlyn. Yeah, I think so. Early game is very important for both these teams because Team Secrets can snowball right out of control, and 𝘀sury it'll snowball, but it'll be a much more methodical, slow-paced kind of snowball, if that makes sense. And because of what we've seen out of these last games, I think 𝘀sury should take the win off of their superior early game. But I have had a 0% strike rate today on my predictions. So
yeah, 𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗀𝘀, you placed your touch of death onto 𝘀𝗀cie, so clearly Team Secret will be walking home the victors. But I do think your analysis makes sense. We'll see if the VCS decides to make sense. 𝘀𝗀cie, what are your thoughts?
I think the Gangplank is very scary here because you have Gangplank on the better top laner of the two, and Gangplank on the better top laners usually means a very decent lane dominance, even on a pick that scales better. And I think the Gangplank makes sense in this comp. I mean, he's also like your wave clear fallback plan if the early game doesn't go right for you, because with this Caitlyn Gangplank, that's basically all you have there. And I think he can actually have a very free lane here, so to say, and I think he won't really get punished by the Renekton Gragas combo that much. And I think the other lanes are also going fine for 𝘀𝗀ie, though I think 𝘀𝗀ie has a 2-1 here.
Well, we will be saying goodbye to 𝘁𝗶𝗶. We'll talk to you after this game. No matter who comes out on top, it's going to be myself and 𝘀𝗀cie heading on to Summoner's Rift. And a pick we actually didn't get a chance to talk about. There was so much in this draft. It's actually this 𝘁𝗀. We've seen it being picked by 𝘁𝗀. The thing about 𝘁𝗀 is I don't question it because he is individually an incredible 𝘁𝗀. What do you think about the champ holistically?
I'm kind of torn on this champion. I think it has its place, but against the Caitlyn, this is super risky, and you didn't need to pull that risk right here. I mean, there are better chances to pick a 𝘁𝗀, and I think against the Jhin it would make more sense, because then you could, at least, first of all, the range advantage wouldn't be as big, and the Jhin is also very bad in DPS situations, where 𝘁𝗀 also struggles late game, but would be better than the Jhin, especially come mid game. And this is like where you could really feast on the Jhin. Also, the Jhin would be immobile, and you could snowball on in that regard. I think the Caitlyn just doesn't lose lane to the 𝘁𝗀, so the 𝘁𝗀 doesn't really profit much of it, and here we see what happens mid lane. 𝘁𝗏 doesn't even get to touch the wave. It is so brutal, and I think 𝐵LAZES doesn't really want 𝘁𝗀 to have fun here. Speaking of the 𝘁𝗀 pick, though, yeah, I think it has some place. This place is certainly not it, though. You want to have it against an immobile ADC. Caitlyn isn't that, and you also get heavily outranged. So I think this only works in great all-ins, and they likely even need to call out the NK for that. And this is very predictable coming out from them. So they might not even win lane and then get outscaled, and this is not the place to pick 𝘁𝗀 in, even though there are places to pick her.
Well, we'll have to see if Eddie can justify it. Yeah, I mean, you can already see the problem, as they are just getting completely outranged. If a hook lands, the follow-up is very strong. There's that headbutt going in. Eddie does dig in a couple of spears, but 𝘁𝗀 does not care. It needs to be onto the Caitlyn. But that's going to be incredibly difficult to do. As 𝘁𝗀, he's hit a minion. Congratulations, he's got 1 CS. Oh, 2!
Wow, he hit 2, and he lasted them as well. And another thing I want to touch on is that just see the new rune, First Strike, onto Gangplank makes perfect sense. I think maybe this is also where Coded is kind of going for, and seeing how well that sticks to the enemy. Because on even gold, the Gangplank would have massively more gold than the Renekton have. Due to First Strike alone, also due to his gold passive that he has on his own with the Trial by Fire. I think no, it is actually part of the Parley passive. I think where you get the extra gold, and yeah, it won't be easy for the Renekton, especially Gangplank's. Yeah, scales so well with gold, and he will have a lot of them. Even if he manages to get taken down by 1 or 2 ganks, I think the Gangplank will be mostly fine. Also looking forward to see what item build he goes, whether he still goes Trifles or whether he prefers the Divine Sunder against the Renekton to really get the good parleys and the tank shredding into there, and also some additional sustain. And here we see 𝘁𝗀 winning the first trade at once, because 𝘁𝗀es was mitting the chains on his end, but CS-wise, this doesn't look too hot for 𝘁𝗀, let's be honest.
Yeah, look, I think there is a bit of burden of execution on 𝘁𝗍es. If he makes a mistake, 𝘁𝗏 can punish it. As we were saying, as the Ignite is ticking, 𝘁𝗍es is going to go very low. He might just burn down. There it is. First blood for 𝘁𝗀. Illustrating my point, that's the burden of execution. You can outrange 𝘁𝗀, but you can't let him do that. There's a TP into the bottom side as Nagia gets punted away. H3 doing his job. Vit gets stunned up into a hook. The Caitlyn will fall. So will the cow. And now Killer Queen's in trouble, but it doesn't matter because 𝘁𝗍es is here to start the fire. The chain is good. Eddie, ooh, so close.
Wow.
Right there. But DNK joins the party. He's got the drinks. But a good flash from 𝘁𝗍es will get him away.
Another flash for flash with then Blaze almost going down a second time as he immediately respawns and goes for the TP play botted to salvage that play. Also great TP this time from 𝘀cie to really make some use of this first 3 levels where Electron can at least bully out some part of the gangplank when he can do some damage to him. And very good stuff from 𝘀cie, I gotta say. In the mid lane, it was a little bit of the poor man's 𝘀cie versus Jensen matchup I saw in 2019, with Qiyana getting the all-in into LeBlanc, Blaze then going down for the solo kill. And this is a good start for 𝘀cie. 1k gold lead ahead at 5 minutes, but I gotta add to it, they need this kind of start to have a chance in this game.
Absolutely. Look, we pointed out that's a weakness of the composition, but when you execute on it, that weakness evaporates pretty quickly. As they do now have, well, if you look at the overlay right now, it was a 7k gold lead, but of course that was just an error. It is only 1k. Just a little bug on the overlay, no big deal, nothing to see there. As Jerry now is able to farm, he's not too far off the level 6, and once Qiyana has access to the supreme display of talent, you have to respect her.
Yeah, I think it was like level... I'm not a mid laner, I cannot really say much about this matchup. Just think when you dash forwardly, you kind of need to be reliant on that you don't need to use a defensive dash anytime soon because it would be off cooldown. And yeah, Jerry just pressed all his buttons and killed him there. Ignite goes down, empowered auto attack with Qiyana. So I think the 𝘀cie is the name of the ability that he used there. And like this, you get the kill. And now both level 6, I wonder if you can really use the Supreme Display of Talent in lane. I think you cannot. And Blazes...
I think you can, as there's Blazes getting locked up. Unfortunately, he is going to get borne down on. There's another Edge of Ixtal being used. Can Jerry actually find the kill? No, the distortion will get Blazes to safety. He's going to go for the chase, but a Blast Cone will lock that one down.
But he's running for the hills, and I mean, just because he didn't die doesn't mean it's pretty bad for him, because he now loses a part of the wave, loses some XP, because now some pressure added to Jerry here. He can just shove this wave in, or maybe even get a little freeze going on. And yeah, Blazes maybe thought as I thought, that you cannot really use the ultimate in lane, but yeah, apparently you can. And it didn't look easy for Blazes, as Killer Queen also gets denied his 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀, and it's also a down inexperience to the Gragas, and great start for 𝘀cie. Now 1.5k gold lead. I'm just wondering how strongly they can snowball and how cleanly they can snowball, because they definitely need to do so. And if there's like some silver lining for 𝘀cie to get one finger back into the game and then maybe just regaining control here, because the scaling is just so much better for them.
It certainly is, but as you said, they're off to a fantastic start. This 𝘁𝗀 is working out in lane. 10 CS ahead. A hook goes in. The spears building up. 𝘁3 going very low. Will the rend be able to be used? It is, but it's not quite enough. But regardless, it gives them huge lane positioning as another spear goes forward. Eddie looking very good on this 𝘁𝗀.
Definitely so, man. I think he also used one of this martial poise dashes to dodge away with the 𝘁𝗀 Peacemaker. A lot of damage traded through from 𝘁𝗏. From Wit onto 𝘁𝗏 there, so it isn't that one-sided here, but CS-wise, it's absolutely not going well for the side of Wit and 𝘁3, and they also need to respect the collapse that's potentially coming out from DNK, lose another wave, and the 𝘁𝗀 now just lane working fantastically so far against Caitlyn and Alistar, and yeah, the TP coming up from 𝘀cie earlier on was really doing dividends there, and 𝘀cie didn't really have the hottest game too. In game 3, he just shows that he isn't really prone to tilt and is having a great game so far.
There's the barrel into the display of talent, and Jerry will pick up another. This Qiyana is well and truly online.
Well and truly online. Another kill for him. He only got the solo kill just now. He rewards himself, getting a gank together with DNK going off. Both ultimates coming out, Ignite also, and just too much damage. Are you sure
about this 𝘁3? If he just comes in, Killer Queen too close for Jerry to really overcommit, but that's an Alistar just getting chunked for nothing.
Yeah, just getting chunked for nothing, and Blazes also, I mean, he had his passive, but he was still dying to it because the CC chain was just so beautiful coming up from 𝘀cie. They now 2k ahead, will likely get the Rift Herald, yeah, they just take it, and this will propel the gold lead, and I'm always wondering when I see something like this, because this is clearly the underdog team, the supposedly weaker team, with an early game comp, with an early game lead as well, and they are now in position where they need to show off that they can play it cleanly, can snowball the lead further, and it's a tough position, because you not only need to play cleanly, you also need to keep pushing your lead, and this is not easy against a better team, on the paper at least, and I wonder if they are able to do so. So far, they are.
Yeah. They certainly are. At the moment, of course, we're not going to count our chickens before they hatch, as there's still plenty of time for 𝘀𝑠ie to find their way back into this one. But it's just so hard to deal with Jerry when he can just constantly sit in stealth. You know he can one-shot you if he finds a good angle. You just have to be so scared of this 𝘁𝗏.
Definitely so. And I wonder where they really place the Rift Herald and what they really plan to do now, because this is the first Drake coming up. They also need to maybe play what the Drakes a little bit to have like maybe an early soul win condition going on for them. 10 minutes is maybe even a bit late for it. Blazes just know. I don't know why you're going for this. I mean, you can just say hello to them and take a free chunk there. The Drake will likely be gone. I don't think there's anybody to do. What?
Oh, no! Unreal. It's unbelievable.
I think silence is the best reaction to this, I guess. Just with the 𝘀𝗏𝗃𝗃. This Drake should not have been stolen. DNK just straight up didn't smite. I don't see anything with the cooldown going on in his side. This is just such a huge bother by them. And also, like, one way for 𝘀𝑠ie to go back into this game. They weren't really getting anything so far, except that one kill that Blazes got onto Nagia earlier. And this shouldn't happen. I mean, this alone, just buy some 5 minutes, maybe for 𝘀𝑠ie
going
later on
under
the
tower
game.
as the Gangplank ult is used to try and buy them space. H3 going low, H3 going down. The Rift Herald charges. Blazes is moving forward. The ace in the hole rather will not find anything. The supreme display of talent, not quite supreme enough. Eddie so low. They're all playing bodyguard. They managed to get him out. As you said, double-digit HP, but it's all calculated, baby. As in goes Jerry. The exhaust is too late. They can't stop him. Flashing away now. He might get immediately turned back on. There it is. 𝘁𝗏𝗺, as that is going to be the LeBlanc getting the kill. Nagia arrives, immediately moves over to take down Blazes. Coated now, might be coated in blood, as everyone has died around him, but he manages to walk away.
2-for-1 trade for Team Secret yet again, but I think it's actually fine for 𝘀𝑠ie this time, because it is a huge shutdown that you get onto Jerry. Was a lot of expended on both sides with many flashes being blown, and this turret likely also might be an afterthought, but they actually do not go for it. Herald Charge got 2 platings off, though the gold lead is still very large on side of Team Secret. It is 3k gold against the Dragon. That should also be on Secret side, actually, but isn't, because Bit has just been so good on this Caitlyn. Had some very lucky timing with his Piltover Peace Break. I think it was likely also a blind steal, by the way, on the Drake. I mean, I wouldn't assume them to have vision there. And yeah, it's a 3k gold lead at 12 minutes. It's still very decent for Team Secret, but this Drake, man, I mean, this should have been theirs. It's such a huge blunder, and it might cost you something, because when you try to play for Soul, you really want every Drake. And giving 5 minutes to a scaling comp is very dangerous.
It is extremely dangerous. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite them, as that would be such a shame for that to be how it goes. This Gangplank, a pick we were very curious about. It's not doing great in CS, but we'll have to come back to it as Jerry is in trouble. Tom's arrived. He's just going to go down.
He's just going to go down. Very good from yet again from H3. Flash Pulver is coming out for him, and he manages to secure the kill together with Killer Queen, also landing a Sonic Wave there onto the C target. Not really too hard for him, but at least gets it going. And afterthought on the bot lane, of course, the turret falls down, which gives a small gold swing for Team Secret. But as I say that,
need to find a way out of this one. Eddie gets into the bush, so H3 actually can't turn it around. Blazes jumping forward with the Ethereal Chain. Fantastic flash there from the 𝘀𝑠tie to get them out. Now they're going to turn. As DNK's here, there it is. The spears are landing. How have they managed to find their way out of this one? Flash forward from 𝘁𝗏𝗃. Locks him down with the anchor. Vit using the Gale Force. They try and turn it around, but it doesn't matter, because he pierces the heart of Vit, and only Killer Queen will limp away. Yep, thumbs up, DNK. Yeah, thumbs up. You've earned that one.
Yeah. 𝘀𝑠ie tries to find the comeback with that 𝘁𝗏𝗃, but Team Secret was absolutely ready for it. DNK coming in with the counter gank. 3 kills, I think, going over to the side of Team Secret. They a bit also try to half-heartedly fight offensively against it, maybe with the Gale Force going sideways and trying to get the damage done onto 𝘁𝗏𝗃, who also manages to survive there. He didn't want to burn the flash offensively there to trade 1-for-1, but he goes down eventually anyway. So 3 kills again for Team Secret, and now it's a 5,000 gold lead for them, and another huge thing for them. And this might be it. This might be what the thing that turns the game completely for them. Jerry also
in a 2v1, he gets the first kill, but the Gangplank ultimate and H3 will make sure that it's only the one.
Yeah, only the one. Gotta say, though, respect to Jerry to get the kill there, but 1-for-1, it's a good trade to take when you're that far down on side of 𝘀WWE. I really love to have this when you're 5k down. You really want anything, any kind of gold you can put up for your pockets. Gotta say, the bit is 0-3 on the Caitlyn. He has played the Caitlyn very, very fine in all these games, but he has just been focused down very much. I mean, this last skirmish, I wasn't really happy with him, but overall, fine performance. And he doesn't really have any goals so far. Now he's staring against the 𝘀𝗧 that completed both the 𝗀𝗶𝗹𝗀 and the Women's Hurricane. So he's in for a rough mid game. And Caitlyn's mid game lull was a problem anyway. So good luck, have fun, bit.
Yeah, it's not great. Coded coming up, clearing out the wave, doing well on that front. We can actually see that despite the farm gap, Gangplank passive doing some work, as he's actually 200 gold up at the moment.
It's actually
the real
200 gold
gap.
up.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. The real gap is in the jungle and the ADC, as you were just pointing out. 𝘀𝗧 super far ahead, but Gragas as well is 1,000 gold ahead of Lee Sin.
Yeah. I mean, Gragas being 1,000 up against Lee Sin is not even that big of a deal, I would say. I mean, it is an AP Gragas, of course, it hits like a truck, but I mean, most importantly, the bot link. I mean, 2.2k gold between Caitlyn and the 𝘀𝗧, and it's favored for the 𝘀𝗧. So once the 𝘀𝗧 is somewhere in the range, and you outranging her doesn't matter that much. She will just deal twice as much damage to you as you deal to her, and then you have a problem bit. All you did this game was basically stealing this dragon, which is of course something that you did very well, but he's not in an easy position, and here's the thing that triggers me, right? Team Secret is having such a great game this game, but they drop off anything like that. Like the first wreck, they should never have been getting stolen away from, and now this Herald, they let it reset, and maybe even 𝘀WWE starts it now. But regardless of that, it was a 3-second Herald for them, which is not the biggest deal in the world, but something you should definitely have given there. And these small windows are something that you shouldn't give 𝘀WWE, because the more you give them, the more chances they have to come back into this game. And this is often the difference between a decent team and a good team.
Yeah, it's just a silly little mistake that you just shouldn't let happen. It's not going to get punished. They actually couldn't pick it up. In the end, they were a little bit too scared of the collapse, which makes sense. But yeah, it's just a mistake that separates you from really chasing the rest of the league. You do that against a team like 𝘀𝗀 when the game's perhaps a little bit closer. They just take the Rift Herald and suddenly the game turns back around. Eddie will be picking up this tower. Nicely done there. More gold for the 𝘀𝗧. She is having a very, very good time.
Yeah, she definitely is. I mean, the gold, it hasn't really been extended. The last few minutes in this, like, where the interesting part comes, 5k gold is the difference, and Blazes just gets blazed.
Yeah, once again, it's 420 Qiyana time as she blazes down Blaze, goes into stealth. She's on the grass as manages to get back under the tower, is going low, will finally go down.
It will finally go down, and this is a 1-for-1 in an extended trade. I mean, Jerry, of course, again, getting the 1 kill in the extended fight is good for him, but this cannot keep happening because you just keep giving 𝘀𝗀WWE inches you shouldn't give them. Also, shutdown gold, meaning that it is a slight gold advantage in this small skirmish again for 𝘀𝗀WWE. Actually, it is now 4k gold at 18 minutes. It is somewhat bearable by now. Herald, of course, also going down for Team Secret, but it's the second Herald, not the end of the world to give that up. Coded just gets caught and instantly popped. And it is a quick game, but it will take a while to be online. And I'm just wondering if the mid game is strong enough.
Fantastic hook, 𝘀𝗀. Just a great hook.
Fantastic hook.
Just a great hook.
I gotta say, Blaze has a bad game so far. He lost first blood to the solo kill, is now on 6 deaths on 80 minutes on a mobile champion. This really shouldn't happen for a mid laner of a playoff team. And yeah, Blaze, otherwise, he has great performances, I would say. I mean, his second game was pretty fine. The first game, I don't remember quite. I think he wasn't the best performer, but also far from the worst. But in this game, it's looking rough for him on the LeBlanc, and the pick is not really popping off. And LeBlanc is a champion where you need to really be spot on in the early game, especially. And so far, he hasn't been.
Yeah. Now this mid lane tower will fall. 𝘀𝗧 participates in all 3 outer towers' destruction. Team Secret with a 6,000 gold lead, 𝘀𝗀. It's just game of stomps, back and forth, and it appears to have fallen in the favor of Secret in Game 3.
Looks to be the case. Gotta say, with the early game comp, they definitely need to get these early leads. In the last game, it was a little bit less one-sided, that, considering the draft at least. So 𝘀𝗀WWE really managed to pull a very nice individual showing there in that game. And right now in this game, 6k is also where I would like put maybe the timer on the side of 𝘀𝗀WWE, where they really like need to start stabilizing, because this lead will only go further now that Baron is soon up on the map, and next wave will also spawn in a bit more than a minute, and Team Secret is looking to go into the position where they can just force objectives and force fights around that. Otherwise, they will just get these objectives for free, and this is something that 𝘀𝗀cie definitely needs to take care of. And I wonder if they can catch 𝘀𝗀ie here. He's really slippery with his mobility spells.
I think they know they can't, because 𝘀𝗰𝗋 can just buy so much time that they knew that this collapse would hit Vit with a good flash to get away. Does take some damage from the barrel. That pierce from 𝘁𝗀 doing so much as well. There it is. There's a hook going in onto the Lee Sin. The spears will begin to stack. H3 as well. Managed to get away. The Gangplank ult coming in clutch to stop them going any further. I tell a lie. Ooh, it's a 𝘁𝗀 ult to get them out.
Yeah. Just the Fate's call to call 𝘁𝗀 back and call 𝘁𝗀, hey, stop inting, you're not supposed to be there onto the turret. And meanwhile, 𝘁𝗀ie just got solo bowled again by Jerry. This is 𝘁𝗀ie, this is the poor man's Yado we said in the middle of the split, I think. And in this game, on a pick like 𝘁𝗀blanc, he really hasn't shown up at all. Just gets absolutely mid-capped by Jerry so far.
Moving in, Dominus used, he goes low. He actually just immediately goes down. This was a little bit of a bridge too far, but can they avenge it? Can they come up from under the bridge? Little bridge trolls. As H3 is there, they need to be careful. Eddie extremely low, moving in, trying to get 𝘁𝗀ie, taking him low on the other side. 𝘀𝗀ie picked up by DNK. 𝘁𝗀 managing to kite away. 𝘁𝗀 has entered the fight. DNK in some trouble. Will have a little bit of a sip. 𝘁𝗀, you absolute monster on this Nautilus, pulling them down to the depths. Jerry rejoins, and that's the ace.
That's the ace, and 𝘁𝗀ie just respawns, walks up top again, just gets hooked again by 𝘁𝗀 and dies. It's his 8th death in the 21st minute. I'm sorry to call him out on this, but you're not playing like a playoffs mid laner this game. This is not acceptable for you. You're not 20 kills down to Team Secret in 21 minutes. I mean, of course, high kill counts are usual in the VCS, and now you are in trouble because 𝘁𝗀ie is very good at taking down these objectives with the Wen coming in. There's no way that 𝘁𝗀, even if he would be there to contest it, this Baron going down at 20 minutes, the time when the Baron's even the strongest, I would say, because the empowering of the minutes is pretty flat. But the earlier is in the game, the more the difference basically is in the relative numbers.
God,
and so
𝘁𝗀's in trouble. How mad is 𝘁𝗀's there? He was 20 damage off just killing the 𝘀𝗰𝗋.
Yeah, he was, and he's really desperately trying to get the kill there. I mean, as soon as he landed Chen, he just wants to go in, wants to get revenge on him, wants to redeem himself maybe a little bit, but he probably knows by now that he's not having the greatest of games, and wants to at least not look too terrible before his playoffs. Maybe is it a playoffs debut? I think that's something you could maybe tell me.
No, he has made playoffs before. He was on 𝘂𝗀, so he has been. He was not a star.
That player was on 𝘂𝗀. Yeah. No, I see why he isn't anymore.
He was. I think he was an ADC for 𝘂𝗀, if my memory suits me. And this was at the point where 𝘂𝗀 just didn't have a bot lane. They just didn't. Not because their bot lanes were terrible, but because they didn't care. They didn't play around bot lane. But anyway, 𝘂𝗀 is not playing right now, and neither is 𝘁𝗀.
He just got solo bowled by the other barrel man, which is also probably pretty humiliating for him. Either way, tier 2 turret falling down, and 𝘀𝗀ie completely fell apart. Let's be real. They're around 11k gold down, standing up against the Baron empowered push from Team Secret. And this is also the thing, like when you are ahead with this early mid-game comp, you would also already be strong in the mid-game anyway. Now you have such a strong lead with them. On the scaling comp, you can absolutely do nothing when you are this far behind. It looks absolutely doomed for them right now.
Yeah, it absolutely does. They get a tower. Cool. It's an objective bounty. It's the best thing they're going to get. That's a 3-man knock-up from H3, but there's just absolutely no follow-up. The bot lane inhibitor has already fallen. Mid lane will soon be joining its comrade. And it's all over but the crying. As, there's catch on to 𝘁𝗀ie. Can they actually take him down? No, not quite. And it's actually turning it around as Eddie is going extremely low. Eddie is going to go down to the gangplank. Nagia with the Sterix getting popped, gets a big heal from that Q, and they turn it around. 𝘁𝗀 once again with a huge hook to try and turn it around. Jerry will be able to hop over this wall, throw out another 𝘁𝗀𝗋, take him down, defend the jungle, as this is just a stop. DNK with a triple kill, just asserting himself on the Gragas as they move in, and the day of upset continues to exist. 𝘀𝗀ie take down their game, and Team Secret follow it up. What a day. Rip everyone's predictions.
Yeah, one day with my predictions at least, because I actually predicted 2-1 for Team Secret, so jokes on that one. And yeah, Team Secret just need to press a button there, and yeah, pressing the button was pretty easy for them in the early mid game when you're 11,000 goal ahead and the Baron buff, and this is just what I want to see from them. When I cast my games over in Germany in the lower tier scene, I would say. I mean, I usually favor these comps a lot more because the mistakes are just that more prone, and when there's like two flawed teams fighting each other. Usually those comps tend to come out ahead and games are over in the mid game anyway. And this is what Team Secret went for there. And yeah, really liked what they went for. And come mid game, I was worried for them as soon as LD died, but it was all over for them. I mean, the CC was just too strong from the side of Team Secret. 𝘀𝗶𝗆 was playing really fantastically on the Nautilus, by the way, and 𝘀𝗀𝗋 this game just didn't find any luck. I'm sorry, but starting from the first kill where he got solo killed, it was not really. It was looking rough for him, and Coated played fine, I would say, 𝘁𝗁𝗁 as well, but the rest of the team didn't really step up to the task. I can't really blame Bit either, just now that I think of it with the Drake steal, but he also didn't really look too clean here.
Well, we will bring 𝘁𝗁𝗀𝗀 back in, get her thoughts on the Game 3 and the series as a whole. We'll go back to the VCS English analyst desk. 𝘁𝗁𝗀, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it was kind of just a stomp. 𝘁𝗀𝗋s did not show up at all in their third game, and what was a very good winning lane from the bot side was just completely undone by good plays, good roams from DNK. In particular, I really liked his Gracchus. It was really strong barrels across the entire game, just being in the right spot all the time. And yeah, look, I think what we can come away with from Team Secret is they have a solid roster now with 𝘀𝗀𝗆 in that they could probably take into spring with some minor upgrades. Maybe they don't even need to at all. And with Jerry getting more practice in for a proper split, not this slapdash 6 days a week type thing, he might develop into an actually very strong mid laner. And then across on the other side, 𝘀𝗀𝗋, they did show good this series. That game 2 was of course a complete stomp in their direction, but consistency, they tried out some weird things in the solo lanes and it just completely collapsed. Bot lane's looking fairly solid though, so if they shore it up, I think they can put on a decent showing in playoffs, and probably won't be enough to overcome like 𝘁𝗀𝗆, assuming that's who they're going to play in that first round. But I don't think it's going to be a complete blowout. I'm fairly confident that, assuming they, play what they normally do instead of going for a weird LeBlanc out of nowhere.
Yeah, fair enough. And with the 2 games today, Flash picking up their first series win, Team Secret picking up their 4th or 5th, I believe. We are going to 4th. We are going to go over to our standings to see how that has changed things. It hasn't changed anything for the playoff race, but I think Team Secret can take some real pride because they've actually tied for 6th.
And I think, no, with game score should be about even, so
it will probably be broken by game time, I think, but I
don't think they're gonna care. I think they're just gonna be like,
who cares? It's not like it decides playoffs, exactly. Yeah, so, but like seriously, for a team that started out as poorly as Team Secret did, they pick up 𝘀𝗀𝗆, and it's night and day. Like, yeah, okay, even with 𝘀𝗀𝗆, it's not like they're suddenly the best team in the league. I'm not being silly, but they are suddenly a decent team, and that's good to see. Do you agree, 𝘀𝗀𝗋cy?
I agree. I mean, Team Secret just now looked somewhat decent. Gotta say, so like, don't want to ruin the fun here, but I'm not sure how much we really cared about these games. I mean, the last 3 series, they looked worse than 𝘁𝗀𝗆𝗃, but I think on the side of 𝘁𝗁𝗆s, which is another thing we can address, is 𝘁𝗁𝗆s needs to pick one of the teams to play against in playoffs. I would still pick 𝘁𝗁𝗆, despite 𝘀𝗀𝗋 looking like this, and so give some credit to Team Secret there. They found a way to win the game, and they played towards an identity. They had a plan and stick to it, and I like seeing it.
And for what it's worth, they were 1-6 with 5-1, and then they went, and then they on the back end they go 3-4. So fairly good with with the old 𝘀𝗀. It's bottom. It's still -% bottom of the standing, but it shows promise for spring.
It does. It really does. And that, again, I say this a lot. Whenever we're watching our lower ranked teams, I just want to see improvement. They don't have to suddenly be world beaters. They don't have to suddenly be beating Cerberus and beating 𝘀𝗀. I just want to see improvement, as that's what makes the league better. As we are going to be closing out, I agree with you, 𝘀𝗀cie. 𝘀𝗀rie were not taking this very seriously. I don't blame them. It is a meaningless game. They're going to come third regardless. They're probably almost certainly going to play against 𝘀𝗀, because I agree with you, Cerberus will almost always pick BTS unless they want to get really spicy, in which case it still doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you come third or fourth. You still get picked, right? You can't dodge the round one Cerberus. Do you think they can pick it back up? Do you think they still will be a playoffs threat, Marby?
Threat, no, on the basis that I don't think they can match up to Cerberus or 𝘀𝗀. But again, I don't think it'll be like a 3-0 blowout. I think they can snatch a game from them. So maybe 3-1. And maybe they can push a 3-2, but I would not be expecting them to take them down by any means.
Fair enough. What do you think, 𝘀𝗀cie? Let's assume they match up against 𝘀𝗀 in the first week of playoffs. Do they have a shot?
I think the same as Marby. Maybe there's actually a little bit bigger chance that they actually take 2 games here, but very unlikely they actually manage to win the series. I mean, 𝘀𝗀 has looked pretty good in the rematch against them. In the first week, 𝘀𝗀 got kind of exposed on their patch knowledge by 𝘀𝗀rie, but I don't think this can happen again and will happen again to 𝘀𝗀. Gotta say, though, if 𝘀𝗀 has a bad day, 𝘀𝗀rie is up to the task to punish them there. And if 𝘀𝗀rie has a great day and 𝘀𝗀 a bad day, there's like a 10% chance that it will be a 3-2 or something for 𝘀𝗀rie. But other than that, I think player threat might be a bit too strong of a word for them.
Fair enough. But with that, we will be saying goodnight. It was a great day of games. I love seeing upsets. I'm so happy Team Flash picked up a win. I didn't want to see them go unwind, whatever. I keep almost saying undefeated, which is the exact opposite of what it was. I wanted to see them pick up a win. It's sad to watch a team just fail constantly. We saw in the interview how much it meant to Yoshino, so really happy for them. Team Secret as well, obviously not quite as extraordinary, but nevertheless, congratulations to them. With that, we will be bidding you a good night. Tomorrow, we have games that matter. Woo! Tomorrow, they matter. They're going to be good. It is going to be a fun one. Don't miss it. VCS English will return tomorrow night. See you then. Good night.